cool. I was trying to connect my it's cool because you can see the comments in StreamYard. I didn't realize that, and it was telling me to connect my YouTube. Then I did all that, which is why I looked busy there for a second, but it ended up just
Hola, hola. Hola, hola. Bienvenidos a Esperanza Vence. Donde la Esperanza Vence? Welcome to Esperanza Vence, where hope wins. We're back at it. Back at our shenanigans, right, Raffi? Oh shit, I have your mic mute, or mute mic mute. You're mute muted. Mic muted. Okay, now I can hear you.
I was saying, oh yeah, ready for the shenanigans after the full moon, like this whole phase leading up to today with that underlying energy. It was like gossipy. I mean, I told you in private and everything, it's just been very gossipy, you know.
Oh my gosh, shenanigans. Okay, well, it's really great to see you. Thank you to everybody who decided to come and fine-tune your free will and intuition with us this evening. For those of you who know us, I am Esperanza Vence Tarot. I am an intuitive tarot card reader, astrologer, for about the past 30 years or so. And Raffi, who are you?
Raffi Dahl, astrologer, kind of a little bit of everything. I'm a ninth houser, you know, but astrologer, crypto guy, like history, all that, human design, uh, specialize in mundane astrology, which is predictive astrology, and then chart rectifications.
Awesome. Could you please explain to the audience, in case they don't know what chart rectification specialty is, could you let us know like what that actually means?
Yeah, I totally forgot. It would be like guessing birth sign or birth times, but more specifically the ascendant or rising sign on someone's chart, just going off of the day that they were born, really pinpointing on what time in the day they were born. And it was kind of personal to me because it was with my mom that
Yeah.
I wanted to know so bad and rectify. And then
And then
seeing
you found
with,
out she was a triple Scorpio, and you're like, did
yeah,
I want
yeah,
to
double
know?
Scorpio.
Did I really want to know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Fun.
And I'll be changing my X soon to like at Night's Light or something like that, because it is Night's Light astrology, but I didn't want to like cause confusion in the beginning when we started doing these streams, but I'll be changing it soon.
I've always wanted to ask you this. Did you know that there is an astrologer called Nightlight?
Oh no, I didn't.
Really? Okay. Actually, he's one of my teachers. His name is Adam Ellenboss. He's from Minnesota, actually.
Oh no way. What a
Yeah.
synchronicity.
I think he's from around the Twin Cities. He's on YouTube, Adam Ellenboss, Nightlight Astrology. Now, they do not practice like the kind of astrology that we practice necessarily. They roll with the whole sign house systems and the Time Lords, and it's
Oh,
Hellenistic
okay.
astrology. It's still tropical Western astrology, but it's Hellenistic. It's they don't deal with the outer planets. They don't deal with a lot of riff. But it's a really
That's cool.
interesting way to learn the basis of like, they because he started the course with like the Mesopotamian and then Babylonian, and he went through like a lot of the like precursors to Hellenistic astrology, and then he teaches and the class is like really it's online, it's pretty accessible, and it's so that's another synchronicity. Yes, like one of my teachers,
So
it
cool.
actually has the same name as you. And I wasn't
That is
sure if
so
you knew
cool.
that. I wasn't sure if you knew that because you're very specialized. You're very specialized.
Yeah,
So
well, I'll have to check him out too. That sounds very useful, the stuff he's teaching for, you know, the
yeah.
mundane astrology that I do. So
I will pop the link here in the description box below. Um, would you please tell us, between the full moon and now, what have you noticed? What Gemini themes keep reverberating in your life? You had begun the podcast just now saying that there was a little bit of gossip and some other things. And then I know that we had looked at your chart last episode, and there was a lot of tinkly little sparkly things happening in your 10th house of work
yeah.
and career. And I know that there have been some advancements there. So would you be able to walk us through some of that?
Yeah, it's really interesting, especially with this Sagittarius energy in the background. I work at the election office. I do every other year, and they had me go a little bit early this year to do mock elections to
Oh,
get ready
wow.
for these new voting systems we're putting in and all that. And while I was there, I already had moved up pretty fast during the election last year, and then I got even more promotion. So I'll be training all of the people that we're bringing in for the midterms, and then I'll be running my own site as well. But they want me to do all sorts of stuff around. I'll be very versatile. They want me doing all sorts of stuff around the election office, so it's going to be really interesting there. So that was cool. And you know, my south node and my part of fortune, they were 1 degree off from where
Mm-hmm.
the full moon was exact too. So it was really interesting to have that go down. And then yeah, just like the gossip, like a lot of people coming to me about like other people and trying not to get involved with that, because we've got this underlying Saturn in Pisces there and Neptune in Pisces, and it was really bringing back a lot of times where I fed into gossip and like, do I want to feed into this? Like, how do I want to navigate this situation? So it was a lot. It reminded me of how much I've grown, but then also had a lot of temptation to fall into things of the past that I used to participate in.
Yeah, conditioned behavior, automatic responses, neurolinguistic responses, muscle memory, reflex, all that stuff, right? Like that's all
Oh yeah.
stuff that it's going to be very uncomfortable for us to break out of. You know what I'm saying? If we're too rigid, Sagittarius is mutable energy, right? Mutable fire energy, right? So I already got like one little candle going here. I'm gonna wait until a little while longer. Maybe if other people want to join us, then we can light a candle together to celebrate this Sagittarian mutable fire energy. And Josie, thank you for noticing my outfit. This is a two-piece. I have the
It's so
pants
cute.
and the top, and I'm wearing gosh, I don't know if you can see. Can you see my red shoes? Aren't they
Oh
cute?
wow. It's
Yeah, they're Ralph
adorable.
Lauren. But this outfit I got at a thrift store, but can you see? It has the cowboys on it. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
I'm wearing it, because it has that Sagittarian cowboy vibe. And then you guys
And I
obviously
love your crystal
noticed.
too.
Oh, thank you. My sister gave this to me. I love it too. Thank you for noticing. I'd like to go back really quick right here to this video that we were watching. Um and say a few things. If you guys noticed, um, this is the kind of Sagittarian energy that we're dealing with right now. Like this is the type of Sagittarian energy that we're dealing with right now. And the reason why I played this video at the beginning was, first of all, to get us pumped. I mean, who doesn't get pumped off some Mongolian like horseback archery, right? Like we got to get into the vibe, right? But also because and we can get into this deeper as we go along, but I just wanted to point out, do you see this person here? They just got shot by someone. These are mock arrows, obviously, but the point of this, let's watch it like one more time really. Well, we'll do that. We'll do that in a minute. We'll come back to that. But when we start talking about the new moon in Sagittarius more, I'm going to reference this video, and right now I'm just going to read something really quick because this is about Mongolian battle tactics, and this is like some of what I think is really encompassing this time. I'd like to just go through this really quick, talk about then I wanted to hand it over to Raffi. He's done a lot of research on some of the current events and some of the financial things that are going on. Then I want to pull it back around to the new moon chart, and we can go over that together, and then we'll see where the conversation goes. But just real quick, as we're getting started and as we're getting into the vibes, and as maybe hopefully more people come in and start hanging out with us, I'd just like to talk about something that I heard David Palmer, the Leo King, say the other day on his new moon video. And I can probably find that too. We'll put the link in there. But he was saying that right now, it's hard to tell what target we are shooting at, and that it would be really easy to like fuck up and shoot the wrong way, or let go of everything. Because during new moons, we really want to banish, right? We're in the balsamic phase. We want to get rid of shit. We want to, just like all systems go, like I'm done. I'm done with this. Like people have had it up to here. And he's kind of like cautioning against aiming towards the wrong targets at this time. And I really started thinking about my experience with Kyudo archery. And in Kyudo, you don't really aim at the target. It's more of a meditative practice. And also, once you understand how to meditate in that way, then you can hop on the back of the horse and still continue to be in a meditative state while all this action is going on. And the target that you need to hit could be like all over the place. You might need to hit a target here, there, and also today we were also listening to Robert Phoenix and Masaki say the same
Oh yeah.
thing, right? Because he was saying that like basically during this new moon, it is time for us to think about, aiming towards a few things at a time. We don't want to have all our money in one place. We don't want to have like one passport to one country. We want to have like 2 passports, 3 passports. You know, we want to have some money in crypto. We want to have some silver. We got to have some stuff underneath the mattress and a couple of cans of food. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was talking about like the Sagittarian energy of aiming at multiple targets simultaneously. And so that's why I played this video right here, because this is just such a like a perfect embodiment of that energy. Oh, it's not playing. And I just thought that that was a good entry into our conversation. And I'm just going to drop the link for that conversation before, because that's only going to supplement like what we're saying tonight. Because you and Misaki had so much, like, because you already kind of informed me on the research that you've been doing. And then when Misaki rolled out, I was like, holy shit, like everybody, like we're all on this kind of vibe. We're all like, those of us who are here, who are fine tuning our free will and intuition together here, and who are subscribing to channels like Robert Phoenix, the Leo King, not so much Adam Ellen Boss, but you know, I'm just saying, I just mentioned him because you guys have the same name. That's not really like the kind of astrology mindset that I'm in right now, but for sure, I take teachings from teachers that like I take teachings from anybody, really. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be like my thing necessarily. Hello, Caveman Juice. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Oh, good night,
Oh,
Josie's Jazzy Junk. I missed you there.
oh, Josie. I
I
think
know
I
I
lost
see
Robert
she's been there
Phoenix.
for a while, but
Yeah,
yeah, and
Josie.
Masaki was I mean, I love that he was brushing up on stuff that you and I have kind of talked about and going deeper on those levels, but he didn't dig into the stuff that I'm really going to get into today, which really complements the information he was going over so well.
This is so awesome. I love it when this happens. Like, I know that a lot of us are kind of lighting up at the same time. Speaking of lighting up, um, maybe we should light our candles real quick before we get too deep. Um,
Yeah, I got mine here.
awesome.
Unlit.
Let's do. Yeah. So, hey y'all, like if anybody has a oopsies, I meant to do this. If anybody brought like a little bit of matches with you, it's Saggy fire time. You know, this is like we're celebrating the Sagittarius new moon, and actually in about, oh, maybe I should do it like at the time. Oh, that yeah, at 6:43
Yeah.
precisely is going to, or 7:43, right? Yeah, 7:43 precisely. It'll be the new moon in Sagittarius. So get your candles and get your matches ready, because we'll light a candle together at that time. How about, yeah, we'll pause out and we'll do that.
Oh yeah.
So Raffi, if
And
it's
do we
cool,
okay,
oh,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, go, you go.
I was gonna ask, do we want to get into the new moon a little bit, and then I could go over a lot of like the market stuff and a little bit of the
Okay.
astrology in, and then we can wrap back around to the moon.
Sure. So as I was saying at the beginning, the reason why I showed the horses, and actually I'd like to show another image too that reminds me of this new moon. I don't know if, okay, so we see her.
Oh
She's
yeah.
getting, yeah, she's got the Sagittarian fire colors on. She's got the purple. But the most important thing is that she's solitary. You know what I'm saying? She's solitary shooting for that target. And what I really thought was cool about the video that I showed before is like we move from this energy into, you know, the crazy, like everyone together shooting all different directions. So this energy to me has something to do with being a solo player, with being a solo archer, but it also has to do with banding together with other rogues, other archers, other cowboys, other cowgirls, and being able to each shoot at individual targets and yet still be kind of a cohesive collective. And because of that, if it's cool, I'm sorry I'm talking so much, but I'm going to hand this over to you in just a minute.
Oh, you're good.
But basically the way that I felt this new moon energy coming in and being fully encompassed was this. And this is a quote from Marco Polo. And you can see it on your screen here. When they come to an engagement with the enemy, they will gain victory in this fashion. They never let themselves get into a regular medley, but keep perpetually riding round and shooting into the enemy. And as they do not count it any shame to run away in battle, they will sometimes pretend to do so. And in running away, they turn the saddle and shoot hard and strong at the foe, and in this way make great havoc. Their horses are trained so perfectly that they will double hither and thither like a dog in a way that is quite astonishing. They fight as good as purpose in running away as if they stood and faced the enemy, because of the vast volleys of arrows that they shoot in this way, turning round upon their pursuers who are fancying that they've won the battle. But when the Mongols see that they've killed and wounded a good many horses and men, they wheel round boldly and return to the charge in perfect order, with loud cries, and in a very short time the enemy are routed. In truth, they are stout and valiant soldiers, and inured to war, and you perceive that it's just when the enemy sees them run and imagines that he has gained the battle that I can't see the bottom of it because my screen is whatever, but you know what I'm saying? Like, read it for yourself. But basically, that's pretty much how I'm feeling this moon. I'm feeling this moon in the way of organized chaos. I'm feeling this moon in the way of people not really I see this in the way of individuals being so well trained and so well focused in and of ourselves that when we cohesively group, just you know, from a meditative or a extrasensory perception type, being in the flow, being in the zone, you know, like if you ever played sports or been on a basketball team or a soccer team, and you just zone in with the other people who are just athletically inclined, athletically refined. I mean, Sagittarius energy rules over athletes, and so those of us who have been training are ready for this. What say you? What say you, Raffi?
Well, I really like that you brought up that aspect of like ordered chaos. You know what? Because we're sitting here in the Sagittarian energy. We're shooting at a lot of things. We have a lot of these targets and everything. And it's like we have to create this chaos in an ordered way because we know really the direction that we're heading and all that. And then on top of that, just astrologically, we're seeing that right after this. This is happening right at the end of Sagittarius. And then everything is going into Capricorn, a much more orderly sign, you know. And even I love that you brought up the chart too, because that was kind of one of the things I was looking at was in terms of predictions. You know, we just had we're over here in like the last degree or two of the last 2 degrees of Sagittarius, and then we had this Epstein file drop today, which they were legally required to put out. And
Yeah.
I was telling you during the last stream that we did, like, I know that they're required to bring it out on this day and everything, but I don't think anything's going to come out. And they just released a bunch of fully redacted pages, and it's incredible. And like they're not even legally allowed to do that. And then I think we see kind of this veneer part. That's the other part of Capricorn I'm really looking at, is the appearance of it, the veneer of it, like a fakeness to it. Like they're really going to try to do some type of damage control around this. And you know that's how you see it hitting this administration and just the world stage here, is trying to create this facade out of something that really is chaotic for everyone who's handling it, who's touching it.
That's absolutely true. And we'll get more into that too as you go through some of the research that you've been doing the past couple of weeks. I definitely agree with what you said about the chaotic effect. I was looking at this chart, and I obviously have to doodle all over all the charts that I see. But I see this chart as sort of like the Christmas tree getting toppled over by the cat.
Yeah, I
And
love that.
do you see the cat emoji in there? Like, whoa, like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
look where that cat is sitting. Guess where? Guess where in the
Oh,
sky? Where
that's
is that
the
cat?
South Node.
Yes, it's above the South Node and it's right by the star Regulus. So what
Oh,
else is by
Regulus. Okay.
what else is by Regulus in the sky right now?
Hmm.
What?
Oh, Three-Eye Atlas. Is that
Hey!
correct? I
I'll
had to
drink
think
to
about that for a
that.
sec.
Cheers,
Oh yeah,
Saggy.
cheers.
Cheers, cheers to Saggis marriage. Mm. I haven't even been drinking yet, but I'm about to. I figured I would drink
Oh
during the
yeah,
show because I was a
a
little
nice
bit
little buzz.
nervous actually. Yeah, I was super nervous. I don't know why I get nervous. It's so silly. Like it's just us.
I know this is the
But
first time I haven't been nervous, so don't feel bad or anything. The first one
I'm
that we've done where I haven't
nervous.
been nervous about it, but and it's funny because like the last time I was even considering like maybe I should do like a microdose of mushrooms to take the edge off and stuff. I'm like, no, it'll end up being too much or something. I'll be like, just so,
Nothing is too much. Nothing is off limits here. You want to do your mushrooms, do your mushrooms. There's no judgment, no limits. And that's exactly a Sagittarian thing to say, isn't it? No judgment, no limits. We just want
oh
cool
yeah.
people who are telling the truth and who aren't a bunch of shisty, micey, shyster people around us and have a good time and raise the glass. And then when Capricorn season comes, then, we're going to have to work with people. We're going to have to work with all kinds of people. It might not be
Oh
fun.
yeah. And that's
I,
even
I
the Uranus prediction that I have for the next leg too is going to be it'll be a little bit into Capricorn season, the 30th. But that's really like what I've got is that all of a sudden we're working with people, we're forging alliances, and it's
yeah,
around something that's like happening on the world stage.
yes, yes. And the alliances too might be a little bit like mutable and chaotic as well, especially with that Uranus energy coming through, entering back into Gemini next year, like late spring, early summer. I believe it enters back into Gemini on April 26th. And we will be, we're going to have to be able to pivot. We're going to have to be athletic, able to pivot. I don't know if anybody ever played basketball as a kid, but do you remember running rat races? Like where you'd have to go in the gym and you touch the line and then go to the mid court and then touch the center line and then
Oh
you,
yeah. I
you know
think
what
we
I'm
called those
saying?
suicides up in Minnesota, but yeah.
Yeah, we call them rat races. But it's serious, like you got to be able to pivot, you got to be able to be mentally flexible, you have to be able to assimilate information and discern quickly because fire energy is, I mean, it starts up quick and it goes out quick. So if you need to tend to anything at this time, I mean, bam, and then you got like this much time and then it's
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's and then it goes like
in
if
some in
you
some respects it's kind of similar to that Aries energy where Aries are always having to be concerned with conserving that energy because they can put so much energy into something, but then Sag is like the opposite side. And I love that you gave that description, like there's only so much fuel in the fire, and I'm making
yeah
sure I'm getting into things, but I'm being super aware of the fuel I have to do it under all these Sagittarian themes.
well yeah, I mean we can get really optimistic. Look at the star at the top of this chart, that big ass Christmas tree star. Like woo, we're gonna top
It's
our
beautiful.
Christmas tree so grand and so optimistically that the tree might topple over with the slightest bit of excitement from our three-eye Atlas friend coming through and tipping the tree a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I feel like that stability of that tree is getting wobbly right now, not only because of the mutable energy of the fire of Sagittarius, but also because of the mass and collective focus that has been pulled towards a variety of topics. One of them being 3AI Atlas, another being, the Epstein stuff, although they've kind of like pulled us off of that off of that trip. Nobody's been talking about that for like the past 3-4 weeks. That, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, where, once everything was supposed to be released, it's like, okay, great, next. And then let's look at the spaceship and decide if it's angels, and decide if it's conscious, and decide if it's, what it is. It's whatever you believe it to be, because that's what life is. It's a game, dude. Like,
Oh
we're in
yeah.
a game, and if we're not playing, and if we're not working out, and if we're not ready, then we're not active players. We're not active players in this game. And so, I just, what do you think? What do you think you've noticed about like mass collective focus going towards this 3 AI atlas? Like, my astrological and personal prediction is that all of this is going to, because it's happening right now, like right now as we sit, that object is as close to Earth as it's probably ever going to get before it just flies right out of the solar system, unless it turns on its heel and comes back. I'm sure there's a live stream somewhere we could be watching, like, but I honestly think it's going to be a fart in the wind. I keep calling it a fart in the wind, because
Yeah.
if all the angelic people are projecting all their energy that way, and if all the demonic people are projecting all their energy that way, and if all the normal people like you and me who go to work or eat food, and we're not breatharian angelic beings, we're just normal
Yeah.
Joes, like, we're projecting our energy somewhere. And it just, at the end of the day, I think as far as human beings are concerned, most of the time we cancel each other out. What's your take on that, Magic?
Yeah, I mean, as far as 3i Atlas goes and everything, it's I want to think back to when Trump he hadn't been inaugurated yet. He was still waiting, but he had won the presidency, and we had all those drones going everywhere. And then it just disappeared. But there was all this hype around it. And you want to think, if the news is going to do something with it, all this hype with it, why would it all of a sudden die down and nothing comes of it? So we're kind of dealing with there's interregnum synarchy is the term that's used, and these like competing factions. That's one level of it. But then also, I think they're collecting data on how we
No,
respond to
100%.
things, and there's actually something in the works here coming up for us, and they need to figure out what they're going to do, like what they can get away with fooling us with, what not. And a lot of the stuff around 3i Atlas, it's been coming, and I think I mentioned this on here before, but coming through people like Lou Elizondo, Avi Loeb, all these people who are admittedly foreign, or former, excuse me, intelligence agents, former CIA counterintelligence for Lou Elizondo, for I think it's Steve Grush. And then even Avi Loeb has that association with Mossad and the IDF from before his time at Harvard when he was much younger. So it's just kind of sitting there like, okay, these are the ones who are giving the very fantastical points of view on it and everything. And I've said on this stream, on one of the streams we did before, and I've maintained, I do believe there's some type of upgrades coming in through 3i Atlas, because part of it seems like it is an object that they're not really aware of, that's not in their control per se, but they can at least control how they're conditioning society with it and everything. And I think it's going to be tied in very much to the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix coming in. We're in this last kind of huge purge. I think there's a little bit more of it, of gates opening up next year in the human design of the cross of planning really going out. And that's what I love this underlying Sagittarian energy going with all of this for, is it really is making us target a lot of different things, be more free spirited, be more adventurous and all that, and really do away with the cross of planning. Like, what is it like when I really get into this new energy of the cross of planning fading away? And, with AI coming in, there's going to be such a huge amount of that where we no longer need to access those energy systems associated with the cross of planning. And how are we going to now use our energy, the new free time that we have and all of that, while at the same time, all of these new control systems are coming in around finance, around our freedom of speech. And we even have these newer events that have happened around, Jewish hate. There was what is it, Bondi Beach that happened in
Yeah,
Australia.
Pam Bondi Beach, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that was
uh,
the same day that the Rob Reiner thing happened too.
Yeah, it's been very
Last week.
interesting. And I'm noticing we already saw this during the full moon. But I've been seeing just it's getting more and more extreme for people who haven't done the shadow work. And then you can even cross-reference that or carry that over into on the world stage and people doubling down on false flags, on psyops, and this kind of connects all the things I was just talking about, the Three Eye Atlas, the Rob Reiner thing, like all of that, like, because the Rob Reiner thing seems, I love what Robert Phoenix said on it, how it seems to be associated with, sexual abuse from when he was a child.
Yeah.
And that makes, like that's kind of dealing with the shadow work and all that. And then, yeah.
Well, and I'd like to get back to that and also a couple of things that Misaki said today on their podcast earlier, because wasn't that a banger?
Really, really good. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Frickin' A, dude. But I would like to
I
ask
loved
you a
what he was
question really
connecting.
quick. Could you please tell me more about the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have new children that are gonna be starting to be born under that. They're gonna be
Is
accessing,
this a human
and I'm
design thing? Is this like the raves or like, because I honestly, I don't know shit about human design.
yeah, and I
Legit.
definitely know
Well, I
people who
know what
know more about human.
Janine taught me some.
Oh yeah, Janine has good human design. Janine and Amy, who was also at the event in Dallas, great human design. Amy really went through a lot of my chart and made it make sense. And then neutrino astrology, it has been the human design person I've been going to, and I've been picking up more and more of it. I didn't realize how deep it goes, but yeah, it's going to be a new generation of people accessing new energy systems that are
Okay.
being born.
So is it
And then
actually a
also
cross
we're
in the
moving.
chart?
That would be, yeah, like it's so it's a cross that's going to be born, and I can't say I know the difference between these or anything, but a cross that's going to be born and a cross in the chart that we'll be accessing, and the way in which we access it will be based on the gates that we have open and
Okay.
the energy systems. If you're like a splenic projector, or I'm
Okay,
like I
that's
believe I'm a
pretty.
splenic manifester.
We should do a human design show sometime, and I'd like to hear what Janine has to say about that. So back to what you were just talking about there possibly or potentially or probably being nefarious, Neptune foggy, kind of deep scorpionic things surrounding some of these things in the news. For example, the Rob Reiner situation. I kind of cut you off when you were talking about that.
Oh yeah, no worry. And I would also say I'll talk about that with the cross of the sleeping phoenix. I'll just say, because I didn't even really explain what it was or anything, but I'm thinking of it right now, and people in the chat can totally correct me if I'm wrong here, but kind of the opposite of this cross of planning. I need to actually look
Okay.
up the definition of it. I keep on referencing it, and I haven't actually just typed it in. I only know what neutrinos talked about, and it's always in reference to the cross of planning and us moving away from the cross of planning. And cross of planning, of course, would just be us like constantly planning things, not really living in the moment, living expressively or anything.
Okay.
It's really just going to change the way in which we move through the world, and holding our own power, holding our own space. The part that we just got through was a lot of stuff around mothers, and like, am I going to be my mother? Am I going to carry this like trauma that my mother gave me, or like, am I going to go stay in this cage that my mother created for me, which when I was younger was to keep me safe, and I'm saying this applies to everyone. It was to keep you safe, but then also, like, what kind of traumas did that give you? What conditionings did it give you? And is that something you want to let go of? So I've seen a lot of people working and evaluating around that, and it seems to be very much tied to the human design. And I don't even know which gate that is, but yeah, with the Neptunian and like scorpionic stuff, the Rob Reiner. I mean, I think the only other thing I was going to say is just there's even a doubling down on the world powers, like trying to, for instance, brush that under the rug. And then with the Bondi Beach, it's clearly an op, because that guy was the guy who was there, who was the most publicized person there about it, with the bloody head. And I'm sure you already know this, but he was at October 7th at that attack. So there is this, like I was saying, that word interregnum synarchy of these weird warring factions, and they're doing it through the financial system. They're doing it through the military industrial complex. And this is stuff I'll really get into as I start talking more. on all the stuff that's going on in finance right now, which is this amazing connection that blew my mind. Total Sagittarian energy of just making all these connections and looking in all these places and having it all come together. But
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to shift
oh,
for a second
before
about
you do
how,
that, I
yeah,
just wanted to say, because you have the chart up, I love how the cat is over on that side of the tree with three eye atlas and of course the south node,
yeah.
because it's so funny. It's like the tree, so the tree's going to tip over from the cat, but it's like
From the
as
three-eye
the,
atlas.
yeah, and then but then
That's
all these
where, that's
planets
exactly
that
where it
are,
is in the sky. That's why I put the cat there, because I thought it was funny. Because
yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
freaking out about three-eye atlas. So I'm like, I'm gonna put the freak out cat right on the chart, right where that motherfucker is.
Well, and it's
I
like
thought
as
about
everything
putting a
is
little
moving out,
spaceship.
as everything's moving out of
Mhm.
Sag, like and like going up, it's like the foundation for that side of the tree is also giving out.
Exactly. So that's what's
And
going to
so
tip
it's
it
like,
back. So the Sag energy is what's going to tip it back. And you can also see between, Neptune making that square to the sun and the moon, Saturn making squares to the sun and the moon, our North Node making squares to Mercury, and the Mercury making this. Mercury is basically bending the nodes at this time in Sagittarius. So the information that comes in that's more optimistic, that's more forward moving, that's more connective, and that's more fiery is what's actually going to tip the tree back to its pretty state. So once I think that that freaky cat, that AI atlas starts to zoom along its way, I think that the tree is going to tip back. Like, let's look at the top of that star of that tree though, because it's funny that you just brought me back to the chart, because I was literally just going to say this. So I love how I don't know, like when I play with you here, Raffi, I feel like that same love that I feel when I play in a band or when I play music with somebody. I feel like
yeah.
there's a level of conversation. I feel like there's a level of intuition. I feel like there's a level of listening, but I also feel like there's a level of magic. And so thank you for being here. I really appreciate you
Yeah. Thank you
fine-tuning
for
your free
having
will
me.
and intuition with me. Like I really thank
Like
you. And
I feel like we bring out so much in each other, you know?
I hope everyone else too. Like, I'd like to really thank everybody else that's here and on our channel here, hanging out with us and stuff. Because I have some thank yous to give, and at some point, I have some comments that I'm gonna put up on the screen. People who have been commenting on my like quick hits tarot videos and on my daily videos and on my monthly videos. And if you want the 10 card Celtic cross reading that matches this chart for the new moon in Sagittarius, you can check my playlist. Raffi has a YouTube channel too, but his YouTube channel isn't, he's more active on X. So you can find him here if you'd like to get a hold of him. Ew, I don't like that color. Why is that this color? Oh. I need a new
It's
color.
clashing with your
I
Christmas stuff.
can't. Yeah, I need more like Christmassy. I need it. Yeah, that's better. Um, thank you. I have to I have to do what I have to do in this world. But yeah, you can get a hold of Raffi there on X. I'm more active on YouTube, but there was a really great comment on one of my videos today, and this Sagittarius energy, especially with a like Chiron and Jupiter are having this square, right? And then we just had the sun squaring Saturn the other day. And then we have the sun squaring Venus on Saturday, tomorrow, Saturday, I guess. So this entire week, Monday through Friday, has really been sandwiched in this energy of just sort of like kind of sitting with yourself. Like you can't just go off and run and just happen. I mean, this is like the hurry up and wait energy, or this is the calm before. I don't know. I'm feeling optimistic, but at the same time, physically, I'm not really able to like do a lot of the things that I want to do to get going. And
Yeah.
as the tree wobbles back and forth, we're just gonna have to see if it's gonna tip all the way over, and we're gonna have to clean that up, or if we could take some of this Sagittarian buoyant optimistic energy, and just kind of like gently like rest the tree back. Like I was saying, that square between Neptune and the sun and the moon, as well as the Saturn square, those red strings are kind of anchoring the tree down. So I don't think that the cat down there, that the freaky cat, that the 3IA is going to like shake things up too much. But what it is going to do is it's going to pull our energy from where we need to be. And where I think we need to be in this chart, honestly, is inside our own bodies. Okay. The top of that star, the top of that big, huge, like gaudy, obnoxious star on this super gaudy Christmas tree is Eros. And Eros is damn near conjunct the midheaven of this chart. And Eros is an asteroid that has to do with physical pleasure. Okay. And Eros, obviously, we all know, Cupid, shooting the bow, right? Shooting the bow and arrow. Once again, that Sagittarian energy of the archer, right? So Eros shoots his arrow. Eros shoots his arrow and gets lovers kind of feeling a little freaky. So you could feel freaky with somebody else, you could feel freaky with yourself, but the point is that, and I gotta credit Lori Lothian. She's an astrologer that's of the Adam Ellenboss ilk. I think he was her teacher too at some point, but she works with a lot of fixed stars and asteroids in her work. And I think I saw one of her videos about this Sagittarius new moon, and it really opened my eyes to the fact that Eros. And then when I looked at the chart, I saw this freaking star on top of this Christmas tree, and Eros was right at the tippy top of the star that like literally is the last crowning thing that you put on the tree. You decorate the whole tree, and then at the end you put the little star on top. And so I think the star on top of the Christmas tree, which is our Sagittarius new moon today, which, by the way, it is time to light a candle because it's precisely happening right now, our Sagittarius new moon. So speaking of the chart, if you guys have a candle with you, light them if you got them.
Oh yeah.
Smoke them if you got them. But cheers, cheers. Happy Sagittarius new moon. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you for being friends with me.
Yeah,
thank you for celebrating.
Here, guys.
My best friends, I have a few best friends, but some of my really best friends are Sagittarians and sisters, you know what I mean? Like people who I consider to be my sisters, so shout out Janine, shout out Eileen, shout out Mary. But cheers. And
yeah, Janine is the essence of a Sagittarian for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, she just vibes, and she also gets other people lit too. She gets other people excited about what's going on. And I wanted to just say that, like, thanks for coming around to this channel and like bringing more light in. Thanks for being open to bring more light in to our lives. What do you have to say about your candle?
Lighting the candle, it's getting me to think, and it's funny because it just goes in with these squares. Looking at the chart before we did this, the squares right there were the main thing I was looking at between the planets in Sag there, and that like Neptune and Saturn. And it's like, be ready for an open, like an adventurous Sagittarian way for whatever shattered realities are going to like bring into your way, because it is for your higher good. It is going to actually bring more into the material space for you, things that you wouldn't even expect. That's the positive side of the Capricorn energy that we're moving into.
Yeah.
And that's really the beautiful part. And this is that time. I think you were kind of saying like a calm before, I don't know if you said before the storm, but like a calm before something. And I totally agree with that. Just this calm energy before, like really before there's a drama over Christmas. And I've got people who don't even follow astrology. One of my political commentators I've been getting into lately is Owen Schroyer, but he's just like, there's going to be some type of drama over Christmas, over the Christmas break and all that. And we just like hit the ground running in January.
Yeah.
And, like he's not the only one saying that, but he was like the third one I heard saying it. But people who aren't even into astrology, who just sense this coming, and there really is this calm. So enjoy the calm and enjoy the holidays with people, and don't let the things that they throw in try to try to distract us during the holidays, really take you out from that amazing time with family and friends.
Have a good time, have a drink, relax. I mean, there's not much we can do about it. And like, I did not say the calm before the storm because that is the saying. That is what people say. I said the calm and then I like couldn't really think of what I wanted to say. But when you started talking just now, it made me think of like the calm before the big game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love
Like
that.
after you've hyped yourselves up in the locker room or whatever, and everybody's hey, go, go, go. But then
Yeah.
like, you know, you get out there and you're sitting and you know you're waiting for tip off. You know, the ref flips the coin, we decide like, you know, how we're gonna do the tip off, but at that point it's pretty calm, it's pretty quiet, and then it's the big game. Then it's time to get your horse and ride. Okay, then it's time to put your practice into practice. You know, like, have you been working out? What have you been doing in the background this whole time? Saturn is gonna, you know, Saturn's gonna like bring the tab.
Yeah, I was looking too at, I don't know what it was. I wrote it down here, but there was something that was making me think a revisitation of, because and this is the last one of this year that we're doing, the last stream. Of course, we'll get started early next year, but I think a lot of people forget how the year started out, and I've referenced this on one of our other streams we did, but it started out with the Tesla explosion at the Trump Tower,
Of all
and
places,
even
yeah.
then I was looking at it like, okay, what is this saying about what's going to happen between Trump and Elon? And then we saw what happened over the summer between Trump and Elon, and they had this like, whether that was staged or whatever, but it was just very interesting. They had this huge falling out, then this like area of some type of quasi forgiveness that came about, maybe of convenience or but and I think maybe they're scared of Elon. I don't even think Elon is this great guy who is here to benefit humanity or anything, but I do think it gets back to the interregnum synarchy that I keep talking about, these warring factions that are within, and there's some type of weird control that they're losing right now. And that's what I look at these squares and everything, and like something from that coming back to haunt. And it might be like right at the beginning of the year or in like over like this Christmas break is where I'm really looking at that coming through. But yeah, like I had it somewhere here what it was on the
And
chart that made me see it. So I'll get
well,
back. I'll see it at some point.
who in that story has Regulus on their ascendant?
Oh, I actually don't. It wouldn't have. Would it be Trump or is it? I think it's
I
Elon,
believe
right?
so. I believe Trump
Oh, it's
has,
Trump.
yep, I think that Trump has Regulus really close to his ascendant. And
Oh yeah, by his Mars. I
Elon
think yeah.
Elon is a Cancer, so Jupiter's blowing up everything that he does.
Oh yeah.
Literally. Literally.
Yeah.
Jupiter is literally blowing up everything he does. Everybody always talks about Jupiter as this big benevolent uncle who loves you and sends money and extra, and that's true, but Jupiter goes
Yeah.
ahead and adds, you know, expansion to whatever's already going on. So if you're already a douche, you're going to be a bigger douche. If you're already an optimist, you're going to be an even bigger optimist. That you know, when you go to shoot at a target, you have to shoot beyond the target in order to hit the target. You know what I'm saying? But Jupiter can overexpand things to the point where, you know, the target's blurry because you're just so
Mhm.
you're just so overconfident that you can really mess yourself up.
Yeah, and I've said to you before, like my quick notes of Jupiter, like when I'm really just explaining as fast as I can to someone, is it's the planet of too much. You know what I mean? So it's like you always have like what sign it's in, what house it's in, like you're gonna have an abundance around that area, but like how much is too much? You know what I mean? And then when you get the
How much is
transits,
too
it's like
much?
or like is there, yeah, like how much is too much? Or I even have said before, it's like this spigot that will just keep on flowing. You have to know like when to turn the spigot off, you
Yeah,
know?
you need to know when to call Saturn and get some boundaries.
Exactly. And then that brings in the restriction. Yep.
Yeah. And let's not forget our buddy Uranus. Well, I guess you're going to get more into your Uranus predictions. Is there anything more that we wanted to say about this chart? That's pretty much what I saw in this chart. I'm so glad that we got to light a candle together at the time where this
Yeah.
interstellar object is you know, so if we've all shifted into another realm, at least we went together, right? Like I still feel
Yeah. And
pretty much the same. Like I still, cheers. I'm still.
this isn't necessarily tied to this chart in particular, but it is tied to Uranus. And yeah, it was like something with this chart, but I'm trying to like read this really quick. When that Tesla stuff happened, we had Venus in Aquarius at 28 degrees, and that was a
Okay.
square.
Yes.
In square to Uranus, that is, to Uranus.
Correct. Yeah.
And it was really interesting too, because what I'm seeing with that is almost not this moon cycle or anything, but I'm thinking we see some stage or some like awareness around what happened then. And then I think I don't even know if I wrote down the date. February 17th, right after we have that Neptune Saturn conjunction into Aries, that's when we kind of have that closing out of the whole moon cycle associated with that. Like all the planets, I have it written down here, but it's like I don't want to like really I did like chicken scratch and stuff.
The Cancer full moon?
Cancer full moon,
You're
that's
talking
gonna
about the
be
end of that. You're talking about the end of that moon cycle right around mid-month in January.
that'll be like, I think it's January 3rd, right?
Yeah, the Cancer full moon's coming around January 3rd, January 2nd, January 3rd, something like that, right around the new year. So that's interesting too. So we're gonna have a really interesting episode next time, because not only will it be New Year's, it'll be the new fiscal year. It'll be a water full moon. Water moons really have a lot to say about finance, I think, in my opinion. I know that the new moon is when you finance people start to feel your feels, but in my vibes these days too, and I also wanted to mention this about this new moon, and oh gosh, I wish that I could find Gracie. I think I'm gonna find her and talk about this, but the 28 degrees, listen, almost every new moon that we have had and that we will have through 2026 is at 28 freaking degrees, dude. It'll be at like, the new moons keep falling at these really full degrees. Tell me how you feel about that. How do you feel a new moon that is so fucking full? Basically, that is my question to you.
Yeah, I think it's highlighting the things in that area too, and it kind of gets back to really what started within the last week, going into like about March or so, where we just got this train of planets that are going to really all be in like one sign after the other after the other. It is this like saying goodbye to the old energy of those signs, like the old underlying energy, because obviously the energy of the sign is going to like be the same thing. It's not going to like change rulerships, but and the word I've been using is initiation. It feels very initiatory in all these areas of life.
Seriously. I wanted to
And it was, just so you know, it was February 17th and February 1st. There's some stuff going on with Mars and the moon that's like essentially closing out that cycle of where the moon like went essentially, and in the aspects it was making from the Tesla thing. And then I just find it interesting with that Saturn Neptune conjunction. It makes me want to think that there is like, that's when the false flag is coming. Everyone all around is screaming like false flag incoming, false flag incoming. Like I feel like I can feel that too. And then it even ties in with the stuff I'll get into around the economy and, you know, the finance world and all that. They're really getting ready for something.
Yeah, I agree. And obviously they have better astrologers than we do.
Yeah, it's weird how well it lines up. It's like they're gonna say astrology's fake and all that, or like scoff at it, but then they spend lots of money on great astrologers, because some of the stuff and timing that they come up with, it's like, wow.
The they is ridiculous. Let's circle back to also that podcast with Masaki and Robert Phoenix today. Could you go over some of the stuff that they were talking about that black magic? How China, dude, that got deep.
That was yeah, that was pretty
That
crazy.
got
I was in the
so
shower,
deep.
but I paid attention to most of that. And the thing that really shook me to the core was hitting the guy with acupuncture before they like killed him,
And
so that
harvested his
it would
fucking
hold his
organs.
soul. Like, oh my
And really,
God.
yeah. So you guys, like, I mean, obviously anybody who's here hanging out with us, like, but I mean, I have normie friends. I don't think they're tuning in because when we start to talk shop, like they all fall off. But I mean, all of us have like normal people and a little bit more intellectually extravagant people in our lives. Those of us who are sitting chit-chatting here are kind of have a certain type of awareness or a certain type of ability to accept that certain things in life, as ugly as they are, they could potentially be true. One of the things that could be true is that, in this atheistic, kind of like mono globalist culture that we find ourselves being thrust into or sucked into, there's an absence of God, and there's really a prevalence of evil, really. A lot of those who, because in order for a lot of these control mechanisms to maintain, they're not organic. Okay, so they have to keep getting fed. You have to keep feeding it. Okay, it's not an organic ecosystem. I've been saying this week. I've mentioned it in a couple of, like, me, I'm such a chat slut. I am literally like all up yesterday. Oh my gosh, yesterday I was a manic chat slut. Yesterday was
Oh yeah.
freaking vibing, dude. I was feeling the Sag energy. I'm like, well, I don't have to go anywhere. I'm right here on my laptop. Every one of my favorite astrologers went live. I was all over. I'm like, being a keyboard warrior. I'm a keyboard warrior, I tell you. I'm just, woof, I get in there. But one of my zingers that I threw in was that, there's a huge distinction between an ego system and an ecosystem. Ecosystems thrive. Ecosystems are natural. Ecosystems are open to nature, open to the cycles of the moon, Ego systems use the moon's energy to channel their own freaking life force and control and potential sort of emperor energy onto the rest of us, Pentacles people, right? As far as the tarot is concerned. So what happens when these control systems or these control mechanisms have been doing this shit to us for so long? They need to keep eating. It's called a hungry ghost. It never stops.
Yeah.
They need
I
more
was gonna say
blood.
meat grinder. Yeah.
They need more blood. They're thirsty for blood. They're hungry for power. And they literally want to eat your fucking soul, dude. Like, this is not a joke. This is not a fucking joke.
Well, it's getting to
And
the
I
point where
think
it's so noticeable.
yeah, like the level to which like most like Harry Dickens like me, like literally, like I watch Jeopardy, I watch the Hallmark Channel, I binge YouTube, and I
I
try to
love
just
Jeopardy.
be I love it too. Oh my god, it's so good. I try to be blissfully unaware of all of this crap magic, but it exists and it's real. And if people like you and me don't get into the chart at the level that these folks are getting into the freaking chart, I mean, we don't have to use the chart to control others, but if we can use the chart to empower ourselves and know that these cycles of time are coming and that it would be likely for some freaking tomfoolery to attend the party, then we're going to know to bring a bouncer to the party. We're going to know to put our lemon scrub on before we come online and put our face in front of 14 people or whoever's here. But you know what I mean? Like, if we know the weather, then we can work with it too. What say you?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing is, I mean, even for a great analogy, you could just use something like Harry Potter. It's like learning
Yeah.
certain, and no one who was in the story themselves, but people that they knew from earlier on, you know, maybe only Dumbledore or something, but learned the dark arts so that they could defend against the dark arts, like knew all those things so they would know what the dark wizards were up to. And that's kind of where it gets into, and I find myself doing that in my studies, is like some of the stuff is so dark, so heinous, and you
Yeah.
can't even think of it, and you can feel this energy as you research these things and stuff, of like this energy of just the power that it gives them. And that's like really where the temptation, like you can feel how it takes them over essentially, and you can
Oh
see like
my
where they fall to it and
gosh.
all that. And that's what makes it so scary to research it, because there's just
It's like
something
a
to it where it's like, oh, you
I
know.
think Sedona Angel just said something. They're unsexy vampires, 100%. Like, and then once they get
Yeah,
a drop of that blood, they just need more and more and more. They become so thirsty for it. Like, there's nothing that's going to satiate these people. They're fucking depraved. And
yeah,
they're kind of like putting the chess pieces together. But the thing about it is that like at the end of the day, like when they start sorting through the world and putting us where we need to go, who's ever going to have the ultimate power? None of them, because they're all just going to, you know, they're never going to cooperate with each other. Like the Rothschilds are never going to cooperate with, you know, for a minute, for this moment in time, they can live and let live, but they're never, ever, ever going to let somebody share that power. There's always
yeah.
going to want to be one of them that has to just rule them all. One ring to rule them all, you know?
I'll use that word
And
again, interregnum synarchy, you know. They
mm-hmm,
just they're
mm-hmm.
gonna be these warring factions.
I believe that. I want to put a link right now in the chat. I watched this really awesome podcast from Tippecanoe Herbs, fellow Wisconsin person. But he
Ooh.
interviewed a guy on there. His name is Topher. He interviewed him like a day or two ago, and Topher was talking about biochar. And the reason why I'm mentioning biochar during the Sagittarius moon is after all of this fire, you know, we can use this fire to condense molecules to carbon and extract like the purest form of alchemy, or not the purest form, but just one concentrated form of alchemy from any type of thing that we can find in nature. After we do all this fire, there's going to be a lot of ash left over. How can we use that ash to regenerate ourselves and even cleanse our own system? You know, kind of like activated charcoal. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
after all this fire, there's going to be a lot of ash. And that activated charcoal can fertilize the ground that we need to walk on during Capricorn season that's coming in. I have a feeling, I have an internal feeling that Capricorn season is going to be fucking lit this year. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It's just and I was saying this to one of my friends before we got on stream, but I was saying I'm so excited for the drama to transfer to my life, which is usually pretty drama free, you know, but like with this last moon phase, I'm like, for it
You
to
could use
transfer from my life onto the world stage, you know, because I just think there's going to be so much
yes.
going on that's like,
Yes.
for people like you and I will see it and it's exciting because it's stuff that's changing. For other people, maybe unsettling. And this gets back to the conversation we had about like you're seeing the people who haven't done the shadow work really doubling and tripling down and just be getting so extreme about things, you know? And I'm over here
Yeah.
like dancing in the corner. I've got Jupiter trining my Pluto right now. I'm like dancing in the corner, like can't wait for it all to burn down, you know. But I love like that
I
ash
know your
analogy
generation is
metaphor.
crazy. You guys don't mind anything burning down. Like I'm like,
Yeah,
no! I'm like Saturn, Neptune, you're my last hope. Like,
I know. I'm like having to check myself in chats and everything because I'm just like, like
oh my
I was saying in
gosh.
Robert's chat, like when the stock market crashes, I'll be dancing on its grave. Like,
I saw
like
you.
that's,
I freaking saw you. I'm like, you freaking kids these days. You kids these days have no problem with the fire
um,
energy.
and something else
Um,
with Capricorn season, I was thinking is a lot of good karma that we've planted really coming. I guess you could technically say that's part of any Capricorn season, but a lot of times with Capricorn season, I'm seeing more of this about the image of things being more of the highlight, and I think this year it will be more about that abundance, or more so the harvesting on a lot of that good karma that you put out, seeing the return on investment. Not that you did it for that reason, of course, but just having things kind of come out of nowhere, like, oh wow, like this connection that I made earlier this year, and like now I have this opportunity open for me, or now I'm getting like this
Yeah.
gift that I wasn't expecting from a person.
Exactly. And especially with the Chiron and Jupiter square, I really think that like something that we might have missed out on earlier this year, we might be able to heal now.
Oh
Again,
yeah.
I think it's going to exacerbate our wounds if we're not like working, if we're not doing the active work, if we're not training like the warriors and the soldiers that like, because Sagittarius, it's like Aries is warrior, but Sagittarius, it's like, that's when you do the fun. That's when you do the 5 of Wands, right? That's when you do the play fighting. That's when you do the training. That's when you do the sparring. And that's when you have the fun, getting ready, getting yourself ready, like getting your etheric body ready and your physical body ready. I wanted to talk about the link that I dropped in the chat. I think I dropped it. Maybe I didn't. Yes, I did. Okay, the link that I just dropped is for Tippecanoe Herbs. Like I said, he interviewed this guy named Topher, but in the past 2 days, I've watched 2 podcasts. Another podcast that I watch a lot is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church. Everybody knows Jimmy Church. Yay.
Oh yeah.
He is the Jupiter in my life, man. I should run a
He's awesome.
synastry chart with this freaking guy, man. Like, God bless
His
him.
energy is great too. I did meet him in Sedona, and he's just
God
awesome.
bless him. God bless him. He is so nice to me, man. And like, I it's cool, whatever. But he had his anniversary today. I think marks 13 years of him doing this podcast, Fade to Black. And
Wow, on the
he
new
used to be
moon.
at
That's
Coast to
cool.
Coast with Art Bell back in the day. And he had a guest on Sharon here in chat. Oh, it's Sedona Angel knows him too. Yay. Elizabeth and Randy Wilson. Yeah, Randy Wilson is a friend from there too. So it's like all my chat whoring is coming to roost, right? Like, no, I'm just kidding. I just call myself that, but I I feel like he had a guest on the other day. Gosh, I want to say her name was Sarah Eckarty, and she's an alchemist. And then the link that I just dropped for the Tippecanoe biochar, they were also talking about alchemy. So whenever I get like a few synchronicities coming in right around the same time, I don't know if it's a synchronicity or if it's just who I am. I attract this kind of stuff. So take it with a grain of salt. But
It's like a
I
chicken or
feel
the egg, right?
exactly. I feel like the subject of alchemy is definitely on the table during this Sagittarian season for better or worse. Whether it's the bad actors using the alchemy for like the example of the Chinese who stole that actor, took him back to somebody's house, literally harvested his organs, did this whole like ritual, killed him on 9/11, did all this stuff. Like these are the people who are running the world, okay? Or who think they run the world. Like if any of us decided to just cooperate, which is something they can never do. See, this is where the Uranus comes in next season.
Yeah. And the degree will be very interesting. I know I wrote it down here. There's the degree of that Uranus is going to be at, and then where the moon is going to be at, and it's just this completion moment off of the Tesla thing. And at that same time, like I'm moving too, like I'll be moving on that day into a house, and there's like this transmutation. That's kind of where I'm getting at with this, bringing it back to what you're saying is there's this huge transmutation I'm doing right now. I'm like, what am I looking for in a home? And then Sagittarius is my fourth house too, so it's like
Yeah.
funny. But but what am I like looking for in a home? Like what do I want to really convert my energy into, all this extra energy and upkeep and all that? How do I want to transfer that over into new work, into new things? Now that I've shed so much out of my life, it's like this ambient charge I've got going on that I'm ready to actually
Yes.
channel into something and
Well,
alchemize, as you said.
yeah, and I think that the fire does translate to that energy. I mean, I think electricity is ruled by Uranus technically. But I can see like those fiery sparks needing to be channeled so that we can still have, like we said, like there is the risk with this fire energy of running out of gas, running out of oil, running out of wick, running out of beeswax, you know, to keep the fire lit, running out of wood, you know. So I would say that from now through the end of January and into February, before both Neptune and Saturn have ingressed it fully into Aries. Oh, by the way, do you know what I noticed too? Jimmy's podcast has an astrologer who he interviewed like maybe a month ago or whatever. Her name is Holly, and she's sidereal. This new moon in Sagittarius is also in Sagittarius for sidereal. So,
Oh, wow.
astronomically, astrologically, metaphorically, and realistically, we are dealing with these planetary bodies, and we're all kind of coming from a similar perspective at this time. So I think that that's another part to where we can feel a little bit more optimistic too, especially with you know, Mercury over here making this square to the south and the north node, bringing that tension to our communications and bringing an apex point to our the fire of our own communications. I think that that's where it's going to like kind of hem us in and bring that fire forth so that we can communicate and so that we can operate on a mercurial scale, which is going to be our friends, our neighbors, our compadres. I think that that's where the power in this chart is really. And I think also the rest of the power of this chart comes from, like I said, Eros, just being okay with your own like sexual being and sexual organs and just like feeling life and feeling physical, you know. I didn't know
Yeah,
if you
well,
wanted to like segue into some more of the astrological implications of this chart, because I know that you've done a lot of Uranus predictions, or is there anything else about the new moon in specific that you'd like to cover?
I think the last thing I would say is just like the mercurial type of thing with the alchemy. And we've got
Yeah.
that whole train of planets there going up, you know, through Sag, Capricorn, and then I believe
Yeah.
it's going to be while it's in Aquarius, we get the next Mercury retrograde. Like just
Mm,
off of quick math in my head, so it'll be really interesting to see it. It's going to start speeding up. It's going to pass a lot of these planets, and then it's
mm-hmm.
just going to retrograde back over them, and that's just so interesting. So that's just another aspect to add. But no, like I think that was really it. I just wrote down a couple of things with Uranus, and I had them totally misordered. So there are always things I can get to on our next stream because they're not pressing. I just feel like this is the first wave of us seeing it kind of come on with this. There's just something connected to the Tesla thing that I think between now and like the end of the year we see some type of glimpse of, and then it's fully realized between February 1st to February 17th, somewhere in there. And then it
What do
just
you
wraps us all the way back through 2025.
what do you think about the implications of the galactic center being almost conjunct the sun and the moon in this chart? What do you think that the galactic center is? Like what is your definition of the galactic center, and why if you think it's important to this chart, I do. But if you agree, why?
Well, with the galactic center, it's almost like depending on how you think of space, what you think space is, and everything like that. But I think no matter however you think of space, whether it's flat Earth or you know, there is a spiritual component to space that does get left out. When you have the astronauts that went to space and they were saying they were seeing their dead relatives and hearing them, and all sorts of stuff like that. Then they have the
Oof.
orbs that are always surrounding them. So I won't even pick like a flat Earth or you know like round Earth type of thing and just say because there's such a spiritual aspect, it seems like you have souls and impulses that are flowing from the galactic center. And so I think that's what's the word? I think that there is a synchronicity to that with what Sagittarius rules, and you know Jupiter being the ruling planet and all that stuff too. And even if you look at the mythology of Jupiter, and what it represented too. I just think that there are impulses that come through, and this is part of an initiation of an impulse with the three eye atlas there, which is in a trine. If you're really looking
Yes,
at that, it's in a trine to some of the planets. So
exactly.
it's just,
Yeah. It's in a
I
trine to
think
the
there's a huge
midheaven.
connection.
Yeah, it's in a trine to the midheaven. It's only a degree or two off of the sun and the moon. And, you know, really, if you think about it, Regulus from a tropical Western perspective is now ingressed into the zodiac sign of Virgo. So it's at like 0 degrees and 12 minutes of actually Virgo. So if you really wanted to stretch it, you could say that it's trining Mars in Capricorn from the 0 degree Virgo perspective. If you want to take like a 3-degree orb, which I don't usually like in a personal chart, but if we want to just sort of stretch the narrative a little bit further. So Mars going into Capricorn, and David Palmer, the Leo King, has really expressed this a couple of times in his videos this week and in his Deep Astrology Weekly, that this is going to be the first time of Mars ingressing Capricorn without Pluto there. Okay, so because Pluto's been in Capricorn for, gosh, Pluto was in Capricorn for a while. Pluto was in Capricorn, I think, since 2007 or 2008. And this will be the first time of Mars being, this is the first time since Mars ingressed Capricorn a few days ago, like a week ago. This is the, when did Mars ingress Capricorn? I can't remember. But this is the
Yeah, it
first
was
time
like
of Mars being
maybe
in Capricorn
5.
without Pluto being there. Yeah. And so with that Mars trining, well, Regulus, and another thing that I pulled in here too into this chart is like, I don't know if you can see in Scorpio at 19 degrees that Neowise, that's another kind of comet or like unidentified object that's also in our solar system right now. And then Oumuamua, of course, the OG, Oumuamua, the one that started
Yeah,
it all,
yeah.
Oumuamua, the one that
Really?
stands up tall, Oumuamua. Yeah, dude. Oumuamua is at 8. I just had a freestyle for Oumuamua. I don't fucking know. It's the line. Don't
Well,
mind me.
Oumuamua seemed to herald in, COVID and everything like that. And so I'm wondering, what is Three Eye Atlas heralding in right now?
And
Like I talked
Oumuamua.
about the upgrades and stuff like that, and I think that because even with my dreams, they're just getting to this next level of the dream work. And I did a sound healing recently that connected all the dreams I've had this year and even prior into
Fun.
like this incredible. It was, yeah, there. That's like
Who'd
where
you
the
do a
Sag
sound
energy has
healing
hit
with?
me.
Where'd you
My
get a sound
friend,
healing?
Liz Wolfenstein, my friend at the election office. It's like her and I,
Oh
just kind
my
of on this level, and
gosh.
then we're like working with essentially all these normies there. And
Fun.
like, so we found each other really, really quick during the election. She brought me all
Nice.
sorts of supplies to the tent I was working at and everything. That's
Oh,
where we really
so
connected. And then we finally had like a self-care Sunday, and she gave me a full sound healing session, aligned my chakras and everything. It was beautiful, but a lot of stuff that just came through, and that's where like the huge Sagittarian energy hit me right there, on top of the
yes.
politics, because that's ruled by Sagittarius, and I was working the election. It was just very heavy and in a good way, though.
That's a really good way to use the Saturn and Neptune energy and Pisces to do that sound healing.
Yeah, yeah. I've been
Yeah.
trying to get the good uses out of it instead of just
Right.
distracting myself. I've been watching a lot of media,
Yeah.
which is like, okay, like I know it'll go away as
That's
like we get
cool.
closer to the end of January, but I'm like, I'll just take this time and watch a lot of media instead of doing the stuff I shouldn't be doing. That was
Well,
from Saturn and Neptune and Pisces.
yeah. And Saturn's trining Jupiter loose, but it's there. So that's a healing aspect to what you just did too. I like to see how this stuff like plays out in actual people's lives, like on the day to day. I think that's so interesting. Oumuamua is at 8 degrees in Aries, actually trining Mercury right now. So interestingly enough, I mean, my brain is going everywhere, but I'm also thinking about the Pope during this new moon. I mean, I just really think like we saw in that
Oh
video that I
yeah.
showed at the beginning of this live stream. I showed that video of just like these archers on horses, and there's just so many freaking targets. Like, you know what I mean? And so many places where our nose might be drugged to like bring focus. When our energetic focus is concentrated, like they don't have to actually harvest our organs in order to use our energy. You know what I mean? That's like
Oh
the
yeah.
pinnacle of the demonic sort or whatever that they do. But like for us, like normal people day to day, like our energy can be harvested like right here doing a podcast, you know, if we don't protect ourselves appropriately, or you know, if we're online and like there's just like a lot of television, the food that we're eating can be programmed. There's a lot of ways for this magic to reach us. That said, with the Oumuamua situation and Mercury, Mercury is the card of the magician in the tarot, right? So Mercury and mercurial things have to do with using the word to create the thing. Now, a number that is really important in magic, and I guess, I mean, I don't really know much about it because I am not a mystery school student. I am a solo practitioner. I have had teachers approach me, and teachers that I resonate with, even teachers that I don't resonate with. Like I can learn from people that I disagree with. Let's put it that way. But I'm only close to people that are trustworthy and good. But no matter if you're trustworthy or good or not, the number 13 is really important in magic. And I wanted to say that the current Pope, Pope Leo, he's a Gemini, and he was born on June 6th. And I believe that he became consecrated or whatever, like towards the end of June in Cancer season. Don't quote me on that. But another important point to the Pope situation is that his predecessor was a Sagittarius. So before.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
Yes. And he actually, there, it's kind of nefarious, but again, the Vatican is involved in all of this magic too. However you see the Vatican, it's up to you, but in my opinion, they are involved in a lot of magic. I'm not going to say if it's white magic, dark magic, whatever, but the Vatican is involved in a lot of esoteric occult magic. It's a fact. I'm sorry. It's a fact. I'm not sorry. It's a fact.
Yeah.
So basically, there was a like donation system or some sort of like a where you could donate money for the Holy See, for people to do this pilgrimage for the Holy See or whatever. And it was set up when the last pope was dying. So Pope Francis, I think, died. I'm looking it up. Pope Francis, I think, died. He was born, like, I want to say right around, okay, to his death in 2025. Anyway, yeah, his birthday is the 13th. Oh, he was okay. His ordination, Pope Francis's ordination, was the 13th of December, 1969. Whose birthday is on the 13th of December? Pop quiz.
13th of December.
Someone in chat's gonna know this.
Capricorn.
No, Sag.
Or yeah, Sag, excuse me.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, really?
Talk about magicians. Okay, so it's just like once you start to recognize these numbers and patterns, you can start to see in the news cycle how this magic starts to rotate, right? So
yeah, I
the
always thought it
13th.
was interesting with Taylor Swift too, the how much she looks like the wife or whatever of the old Church of Satan. Like looks like her
No.
clone. Oh yeah, if you like just type in like Church of Satan or something, Taylor Swift.
Oh, I think I've seen that. Yeah. What was that woman's name? I forget what her name was. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I actually have seen those videos before.
Yeah, and it's like, what is even going on with the cloning? Like now it's kind of that's becoming a little obvious. I like what David Palmer said. He said this a long time ago, but he was like, what if the cloning isn't actually cloning, but they're getting involved with quantum computing and parallel realities, and they're swapping people out for their alternate reality versions of themselves when they're out of line.
Yeah, that's
I'm like,
happening.
that's fascinating.
That's happening. That's I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's also a fact. Like I think, hey Thor, yay! Oh my gosh. And
Yeah, we have
Caveman
great
Juice.
chat
Did I
tonight.
say hi to you, Caveman Juice? Hi, Caveman Juice. I get so excited. Like it's really hard for me not to chat this whole time. Like we're talking and I'm still
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I want to put my fingers in there so bad. But speaking of Pope Francis, like he set up this sort of like way for people to funnel money to the Vatican via this Holy See entity. Now that was set up as he was dying, so there's some discrepancy as to if that was underneath his wishes or if it was because of other factions of the Catholic entity that wanted to set this up. But speaking of Pope Leo, he has recently dissolved all of this right around I think it was right around the full moon in Gemini. Pope Leo dissolved the Holy See economic entity. So basically, all that money that was being funneled towards Holy See, to either be laundered or I don't know what they were doing with it. But basically, what I see happening is that Pope Leo is going to start dissolving a lot of the things that his predecessor had done, and that there's going to be a real focus on this guy in the news, like coming up. I don't know. I mean, he's a Gemini. It's Sagittarius season. I wouldn't be surprised if like right around the solstice or right around Christmas, like he really comes up in the news with some sort of something. But I really do think that Pope Leo is going to be one of the characters that influences some of these stories that we're seeing. Either he's going to speak out against some of these practices because he doesn't want to be implicated, or he's going to just keep disrupting the way that the Vatican was operating prior, and people are going to have to figure out, the Vatican itself is going to have to figure out new ways of finding financing for these points that like just don't make any sense. Like why would you make an entire like let me see if I can find this, the Holy See legacy.
Yeah, yeah. While you're finding that too, I think that makes a lot of sense too, just with the changes to finance that are coming in too. Like I feel like you could very much tie that in, and like where is the new place going to be for finance in terms of the church? And it's almost like the energy I've been getting from them ever since he got in is like they're getting ready to pull the trigger on something. Maybe it's
Yeah.
related to, like a fake alien disclosure and how they'll pivot with that. I mean, I see us moving towards like them trying to push a one world religion on us, and like that could be a new role that they take on in some way that we can't even imagine right now or conceptualize. But
do you want to know
and there
something
is just the
funny?
rise of Christianity again. Well, what's that?
I just went to go search Holy See Pope Leo and it won't let me.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
It's blocking you? That's insane.
Yeah, it's like loading, 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 loading. Isn't that something? Well, maybe we're onto something. Maybe we're onto something. We'll get back to that some other time. I'm not too concerned.
Yeah, I can start to get into the market stuff if you'd like.
I would, but before we get too far down the rabbit hole, I'd really like to just talk about this 28 degrees really quick. I want to play
Oh
a
yeah.
clip from our friend Gracie over at
Like
Northern.
we get closer to
Oh
the end of
shit.
January, but
Oh shit. I have stuff going on all over the place. I need this to go. I need us to be quiet.
I can still hear you. I'm just grabbing a water really quick. Just another
Okay.
one. I had all mine, so
I'd like to play what Gracie has to say about 28 degrees of Sagittarius.
Through Barnes and Noble, as well
I don't know
as
if you can hear her.
click the link in my bio on either X, Instagram, or YouTube, and it will take you there. I wrote that the karma of this new moon is extending the bridge between the Jupiter-ruled season of Sagittarius and the cold yet persistent Saturn-ruled season of Capricorn. We see here the marvels of long ago met with functionality of current use. What marvelous relics do you carry with you from your own lineage? What can you let go? The truth to this degree is keeping up with appearances at a cost. Where have you been too afraid to let go? The blessings you receive from...
That's really what you were saying earlier, that keeping up
Yeah.
appearances at a cost, especially coming into this Capricorn energy. And I just really wanted to highlight what she was talking about. I'll put the link in the chat if people want to see what she has to say about this new moon. But she has a really excellent website as well, Northern Astrology, where you can learn more about the degrees and how, I don't know, she just has like really good research as far as like that 28 degree, but I really thought that was really poignant what she was saying about keeping up appearances at a cost, and what can you bring from your lineage, what sustains you, what gives you sustenance, and what is toxic, and what can we let go of at this time. And that's on a large scale and a small scale.
Yeah, I definitely feel it. And I feel like that's kind of what I was going into. I wrote her down because I'm like, oh, I gotta check her out and stuff. Because it was like this lineage thing that came through with the sound healing and the deep states that I went into. And then it's like, okay, what do I want to like carry with me? What do I want to let go of? You know, that's very much. And then there's the transmutational aspect of it. And we're really holding that, like that charge, like and this is more of like an ambient, like a charge, not so much a flame like I'm talking about, even though fires, there's the transmutative aspect of fire too. But you know, it's just so incredible. We're really kind of putting our feelers out there. We're lighting these different candles. We lit the candle tonight, and it's just such in that Sagittarian energy right now of like, where can we go from here? You know, like looking, it may be like a lower point in the chart and everything, but it is aiming high. It's aiming towards the top of the chart, you know?
Yeah. I think Woke One's Revolution was here earlier, and I wanted to say hi to her, and I didn't. I feel terrible. I'm looking at the chat, and I missed people. Ugh, I just hate. I gotta.
Oh, don't
This
worry.
is
I've
something
been
that
saying
I need to.
hi though.
This is something that I need to let go of this Sagittarian season. I need to let go of like reacting to every fucking thing. Like, it's okay. Like, the world is gonna keep spinning. If you missed someone in chat, Esperanza, like it's cool, man. But Woke One's Revolution is a great channel. Let's put them in the chat. Let's put their link in the chat. So could you
Yeah, I
please,
love both
do you
ones.
want me to pop up a chart? Do you want to get into some of those Uranus predictions that you had, and like moving from this new moon forward? Like, have we pretty much done all that we can do? Oh yeah, I wanted to just say a couple things really quick before we move into like more about the upcoming predictions, the financial astrology, and where we're moving from now until the Cancer full moon in January, which January is going to be lit, like we already said. But I would like to show, just because this is one more piece of this new moon. There was a comment on my video today, on my Quick Hits Tarot video from Warlanda at Warlanda's Cup of Coffee with Scream, our friend who has a podcast. And when she saw my reading, the lyrics to the song "I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day" came to her mind. And she said one of the stanzas was, well, I'll sing it. Fuck it. It's my podcast. I can sing it.
Yeah.
Then rang the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the night prevail. With peace on earth, goodwill to men. And she says, it's interesting because the actual translation of scripture says peace on earth to men of goodwill. Not peace on earth, goodwill to men. Peace on earth to men of goodwill. In the end, we understand that the times of trial and tribulation were necessary on some level, and we are to count it all joy, which is a challenge during the trials and tribulations. I need more coffee. Like, this is how we, this is who we fuck with around here. This is what we do. You know what I'm saying? But like how deep was that? how freaking deep was that of her to say that? And I just wanted to just give a huge thanks and gratitude to the fact that, like, I mean, she pretty much taught me everything I needed to know about how to interact with people online. I never interacted with people online until Pluto went into Aquarius for the first time a couple of years ago. Susie Gemini, I don't know if you remember her from Robert's chat.
Yeah, I've seen her. Yeah.
She taught me everything about how to be kind to people in the chat, like to not be shy, to say hi to everybody, like scrubbies, you know? She's like
Oh
that. And
yeah.
Warlanda's like that too. And I just wanted to throw that up there because I just thought that that was such a brilliant, I just thought that that was just such a brilliant distillation of those lyrics and this time. So, do you want me to stack anything up on the screen while you talk about some of your predictions that you have coming in?
I think I can throw up the chart, and by the way, don't feel bad about missing people too, because I think most everyone that got in, I should have said hi to at some point. So I made
Okay,
sure
as
to
long as
kind of
we
like
said
as
hi
we
to
were.
woke ones, I'll feel better.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, I did when she got in. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Because
Yeah, I'll share this though.
you know how I get.
Oh yeah, yeah, no worries. And this will give you some time to kind of really talk in the chat too, because I'll be talking for a while on this. And of course, feel free to interject at any point and like ask questions. But what I'm gonna do is some of this is tied to a couple Uranus things. As far as like the surprises that come through, there will be some Uranus stuff in there. I haven't made any new Uranus predictions because they do go out until it goes direct. So I think that was like I don't know, sometime in like February, late like February, March or something like that is when it goes direct, I think. But so like it'll kind of be supplementing the Uranus predictions I already have. And right now, as far as my predictions go, this is that time that we're starting to forge new alliances. I love with what Warlanda said too. And then you're just talking about how the energy is within this part of the astrology community that we are in. And we all bring something so unique and beautiful to the table. And I think under the Sagittarian energy is where we get to really appreciate that about each other because we're so receptive to things. We are in that adventurous, free-spirited energy, and we're there's the knowledge part of it too, and that exchanging of knowledge and of wisdom that comes through.
Yeah, huge.
Let me
Ninth
share
house.
screen here.
Yeah. I might have to click
Okay.
on something for you.
Oh, it still remembers us from before.
Oh, cool.
So it should be good. It should let me. I think I have permissions. Oh, okay. There we go. Right. Is that
Okay?
Okay, cool. It's up. All right. And then, yeah, so I put this as like, this is the February 13th date later in the day. So it's kind of like late February 13th, February 14th, kind of depends. We've been talking about this date for a while, the Saturn and Neptune conjunction and Aries. That some people call it the world axis, some people call it the world point. But that's just going to be very interesting. It's such a slow moving planet that I'm really like, this could be a couple weeks prior, this could be a couple weeks after, anywhere like 3 weeks is kind of the leeway I'm giving it, like before or after. And but the wording is important. Financial reset begins. Like, I'm not saying all of a sudden we'll have this new system dropped on us then, but we're really going to start to see stuff with like Uranus going direct. Yeah, so at that point Uranus is direct. I forget the exact date there, but it's direct at that point. And then the 17th is where we see some type of completion, like between the 1st and the 17th. So a lot of different dynamics moving within that time. And that was the revisitation of the Tesla Cybertruck thing. The explosion that happened at Trump Tower, whether it's just another thing between Trump and Elon.
Yeah.
Or it's like, because there was so much weird stuff around that guy. Like he seemed to be a military contractor. He had all this like news he had to drop. And then they got Sean Ryan on that. And he like was dropping it, the knowledge and whistleblowing on it. But it seemed kind of a bit contrived what he went into. But that's kind of me just getting off of topic a little bit. But this is just to have in the background little things we can pick up, little things I can talk about with it as I'm doing this. But what I'm going to get into right now is, we know that there's a control grid coming in. of some type, and it's going to be around
Exactly.
finance. And there's all these very interesting things that I've been just finding that all seem to, they were these separate pieces. I knew they were related, but I was able to kind of really all fit them together. And today is more of a part one, just going over how the new financial system is really going to look and the things going on behind the scenes. And once we do our next stream, part two will be the control grid that goes along with it. And then that's of course another that's tied to this chart as well, you know, with the control grid. And it seems like they're bringing in some type of military control, some type of new spirituality, but that's more of a Neptune and Aries thing that's going to take a much longer period to build up. But the rise of a new religion.
When does Neptune ingress Aries? Is it?
Oh, that it should be on this date, February 13th here.
Oh, okay, that's the day.
Because they'll be. I thought actually it might be a couple days before, because at first I thought they went in at the exact same time, but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it. I can actually
okay,
look.
So this
here.
is the conjunction.
Just go back a couple days.
Let me go back.
We'll go.
I think
it's got to be a
Saturn,
few days
Saturn
before. It's if I remember right. Oh, I don't even know why I just got another chart on there. Oh, it's trying to bring up transits. It wants to lock that in, so I won't mess with all that.
Not
right
to cut
now.
you off. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think that
maybe like a week prior or something, if I remember right.
Okay.
That Neptune ingresses Aries.
Okay.
Okay. Thor's saying March 30th. Does he mean January 30th? Or
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, because Neptune and Saturn meet in Aries on February 13th. So I think here, hold on. I think Neptune ingresses Aries like January 19th. I'll look that up while you talk.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, one of the things in terms of what's going on, we kind of see there's some weird stuff going on right now, but what I'm seeing is we've got foreign investors, they're downsizing their treasury positions. And so our Federal Reserve is also essentially following suit. But really it's what you're seeing is the people who are dealing in the bonds are who are really following suit. Like Fed is kind of moving around and positioning based off of this, and I'll kind of get into what all this means and everything. But what we're seeing with most foreign investors is they're really eager to find these new markets. So with Trump, with the whole like stablecoin act and just the move towards stablecoin, you've got the ISO 222 protocol that banks are adopting so they can take on a new stablecoin. These are things that are strengthening the economy, but there's also what's going on. Yeah, like technically speaking, it's strengthening the economy.
How strong can the economy be when everybody's taking like $2,000 Bitcoin payouts and then that's it? You know, we all saw what happened during COVID.
It's essentially that the dollar is getting inflated away for like in such a bad way that this is how they are offsetting it. So the strengthening is really just keeping it afloat. So I you know, like that's a better way that I could word it, because we don't feel the strength in the economy right now. You know what I mean? Like we don't feel that at all. And,
well, it's not existing. Neptune ingresses into Aries on January 26th. So from January 26th, like that entire week, I would expect a lot of steam, and I would expect things to kind of like lift up a little bit. Maybe that might be a really good time to sell the silver.
Yeah, and I know Masaki was talking about that too, and he really lined up. I'm like, you know, within 3 weeks, like before or after, that's like really where I don't want to be in the markets. I want to be on the sidelines ready to buy whatever in there, but it just depends on what they're doing with the currency and you know what's going to be going on with the stable coins. And what we have though is I wrote down stable coins allow the treasury bills to be turned into currency. So that is really the next thing. So they're trying to take these all this the treasury stuff that we're doing, they're trying to turn this like into the new currency. And that's kind of the whole system that we're seeing, because we have a debt that needs to be rolled over right now.
Yeah, and I'd say between the
And
26th of January and the 13th of February. The 13th of February is the exact day when Saturn ingresses Aries. So that is going to be the starting point of the new era, is when Saturn ingresses Aries. I think from the
yeah.
26th of January until then is when you can make a couple moves. But then once Saturn gets into Aries, like all systems go. Until Uranus starts
Mhm.
doing its tomfuckery at the end of May. But
And they just start
sorry.
rolling in all of the new
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I just wanted to get a timeline so that people can prepare for this date that you're talking about, this 13th of February. That is the day that Saturn ingresses into a new sign. So that's going to be the day that delineates a new system or a new rolling into a system, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, yeah. And of course, for our disclaimer, this is not financial advice, but you know.
Fuck no. We
Um,
don't even give advice about shit. For
but
entertainment purposes only. Hey.
yeah, right,
Shit.
right.
Yeah, shit. We don't know
It's
shit.
like
We don't
you
know
already
shit.
know.
We
You
ain't
already
seen
know.
shit. We ain't done shit. I don't know. I don't know who you work for. I don't know who I work.
Right. And really that's what I'm looking at. I'm like, this is kind of my I've told people here I've got my moon bag and everything. This is where I'm waiting on selling my last little bit and then I'm reevaluating. I'll be at that point have like working a job with good hours and everything that's a temporary one at least because I like to just work more like temporary stuff where I can stack a little bit of money, invest it, make money off of it and like kind of live off that. That's my cycle. But
Yeah.
I've got the money line in human design, so you know it's kind of like, and my environment is markets, so you
I
already know.
can't wait to do a human design show with you, man. I'm gonna learn so much.
I know, and then it will give me like the impetus to really dig into it, dig deeper, because really I just go off the stuff I've seen, and then
Yeah.
when I'm giving human design like readings to people, there are people who don't know anything about astrology, human design, so I can give like more like what I've considered to be pretty good stuff, but then I see how deep it goes now, kind of like I was saying earlier. So,
It's amazing.
um,
Well, I'm gonna
but
take
with
myself
the
off of here so you can talk because I feel like I'm interrupted. I just wanted to get those dates so that people can have
oh,
in their minds like kind of like the timeline of what you're talking about, where these shifts, maybe where we can get in, where we fit in.
of course, yeah.
Bye.
So yeah, I was saying how the debt needs to be rolled over and everything, and the stable coins essentially are the mechanism for rolling over the debt. So we're combining this tariff revenue with foreign direct investments with the stable coins. And so I know that sounds a little bit like weird, but I'll kind of get into that right now. What that means. And this has to do with the Gulf countries, which was this curveball that I had missed, I guess, but I found it just so fascinating. Sovereign wealth funds, especially the Abu Dhabi one in Saudi Arabia, what they've been doing is with Trump's coin here that he has, world not the Trump coin itself, but World Liberty Financial that his son set up. Uh, you've got all of these foreign investors that are buying the coin itself and then that's the way they can keep their money as in somewhere of a safe haven, and it's an investment for the future because they understand where the financial system is going, which is kind of what I'll get to here too. But they do that. They take that money and then they buy at these artificially inflated rates right now for the treasury bonds. They actually buy those and then they can make off of, say, for a $2 billion a year, or for a $2 billion investment, which is the one that one of the ones that Saudi Arabia made here with their sovereign wealth fund. That's going to generate 60 million per year. So that's like incredible right there. And then you've got other people, and that's just one example of one transaction. Obviously, there's a lot more that's going into all of this stuff, and it's bringing up the market cap. It's of course making the Trumps like wealthy and all that. It's sucked out a lot from the crypto market, which is why we haven't seen the gains that we were really expecting this year, which is just very interesting. I mean, they took all the oxygen out of the room. It was like they were talking about Masaki and Robert Phoenix today. But
Well, remember when Masaki said that in the podcast today? He was like, yeah, it's like when someone farts in the room. Sam's gonna love this. He loves his bathroom humor, but he's like, yeah, it's like when someone farts in the room, like that's when you buy, you know?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. I'm like, as this gets lower and lower, I'm like, hey, it's really at good levels to buy now. I'm like, okay, like I'll give it another
Exactly.
week or two. I'm like, I kind of want to buy something right now because I've always felt like there's another pump here in us before a huge crash. But
Well, and
with
I thought
the
that silver was down just a smidge when we did our last podcast. I thought I saw it just like a little bit down, so that would have been a good time to buy. Like, see, this is what I'm talking about, like these new moons at these full degrees. Like, I think a good time to buy silver would have been at the full moon in Gemini.
yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, now is not terrible. Like you could still get in where you fit in, and that's what we're doing. But like, I almost feel like there's this reversal between new moon and full moon energy, and we might have to ride these waves a little bit differently than what we've been accustomed to.
Yeah, yeah, and especially with the way Mercury is moving in relation to the moon too, particularly for me with XRP, it's like I've been considering just like day trading essentially, or like buying and selling and moving into stable coin, like
Well,
like
didn't
like
you
Masaki
say,
was talking about how you do that.
doesn't XRP perform well during a Mercury retrograde, generally speaking?
Yeah, generally it does, and I would say it performed better than most of the other coins during this last Mercury retrograde, but it didn't. It really didn't pump. We got, I guess, if I'm remembering right, we got a type of pump, but I mean, it was just us retracing prior levels that we had been at, retracing upwards, into
Yeah.
prior levels we had been at, like nowhere near a pump that I'm used to during a Mercury retrograde, not the one we got last year during
Yeah.
retrograde, and not the one we got earlier in the year during retrograde. It was fascinating to watch that. So, and I didn't really look deep enough at the astrology because I'm at the point where I've sold so much, I'm kind of just holding the bag.
Yeah.
Um, I will say, oh yeah, so with I was kind of talking about the Gulf countries. So what the Gulf countries in this new system are going to be used for, and you see it through the investments that they're making, is it's going to be a tax neutral stablecoin rail. So on top of this money that's just simply being put in by the sovereign wealth fund and Saudi Arabia, you have China and Russia sending money to them because they're tax neutral. And then Saudi Arabia is buying more stable coins from us. And then that's
Yeah.
going into our treasuries and stuff. And so you're seeing like that is essentially what's keeping the economy afloat in a type of way. But then in other ways, the economy is crashing. So it's and I'll get into like the particulars of this and all that. But and another interesting thing to add into this is this, the IMEC corridor essentially. That's Saudi Arabia, all these Middle Eastern countries, and how it's used as a trade route to like it's a trade route essentially, but also you can look at that as an economic flow route too, and money being traded and all that. They have World Economic Forum has all these ideas and plans for what the IMEC corridor will become, and they want it to be more of a neutral zone, more of an economic zone that bridges these two sides, the Russia-China side and the U.S. side. And so over here, U.S. side, you see the Venezuela stuff because Venezuela is not on board with the Monroe Doctrine, which we've been very lax on the Monroe Doctrine. And
Right.
Misaki talked a little bit about this; he brushed on
Yes.
it, but
Yeah.
what one thing he didn't mention is that I think they realized that the the one world thing just isn't working. Like they're not able to do it, and the whole idea of finance is going to need to go multipolar. And so you see
Hmm.
this backing off of the petrodollar, all this, and you can see that through just following the money with the stuff I explained that's going on in the Gulf countries. So there is this backing off of the petrodollar. There's getting in the last little bits of war that we can, trying to clear out Gaza so that it can really be like that can be an area for Israel. And then Israel is the US's stake within that IMEC corridor. But they're turning all these Middle Eastern countries into essentially a vassal state through which it seems to me like they maybe want that as like a center of power of some type or whatever. Like it's interesting what they have going on there. But and then yeah, US has the West, Russia and China have the East, and then there's just this neutral area of finance that goes through the Middle East there. And that's why we seem to be so interested in. And the blatant amount of push for Israel right now is astonishing. So clearly they know something we don't know. And I think it's around this. I think it's around this new system coming in. They're like, we have to get what we can while we can before we flip the switch on this new system.
When do
Yeah,
you
because
think, what's your timeline for the flip switch? What Masaki was talking about, what, end of May, beginning of June? That would line up with the Uranus shifting into Gemini for
yeah,
good.
that
What
seems
do you
more
think?
realistic to me. That seems more
Yeah.
realistic. I think the first, the like that time frame, I'm really comfortable with actually saying would be a time where they start to flip that switch.
Okay.
We're starting to go into the summer, into that hot energy where we really like have a lot of that stuff pop off, like you saw Iran last year. I mean, that was more like June, July, but I can
Mm-hmm.
see that coming in fall. It would be a good time for false flag season with the aspects that we'll have going on. But yeah, like the Uranus going into Gemini is a big part of that too. It's like we're still hanging on here with the new currency and all that, and Uranus just being that octave up of Mercury, which rules commerce. I think it's such a good planet to track for commerce on a global scale and how it's going to transform, how things are going to come in. Of course, there is the like the surprise or unexpected thing aspect coming in, so you can like put like false flag stuff
Yeah.
around it, but you can tie that and disposit it through in really different and interesting ways. And I haven't even put in the time to do it yet. Just this is just off the top of my head and thinking of what it's going to do, how it's going to interact. Such interesting ways that you can actually disposit that and see how it'll hit many different systems, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And
what was I? Oh
also,
yeah.
the dispositor
Oh
of Uranus is also in charge of our south node currently as well. So the whole Mercury, I think that Mercury is the sneak attack. Mercury is the magic. Mercury is the juice.
yeah, with
Mercury,
Loki. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
that sneak attack. Oh yeah. Well, and then what's going to happen when Mercury crosses Uranus too?
Oof, jeepers cripes. I didn't even think about that.
And that's going to
Holy
be more of
moly,
that
you're
like
right. Like that,
team
like right
fight.
now, like they're working for the same team, but eventually they're going to be literally face to face, having a face off in Gemini, which is 4 faces. So, gosh, sorry. Okay, go on.
Oh, no worries. I'm just making sure I don't lose my place here. Yeah, so we've got these geopolitical shifts that are tying in, and really the Gulf countries, they're moving away from the petrodollar hegemony. I know I said that, but they're maintaining it in essentially a different way through the stablecoin rail. They're taking all their money from the petrodollar they're transferring that onto these stablecoin rails, and they're just building all of this whole entire system up. I brought up the ISO 20022 protocol. That is banks using stable coins. We know in behind the scenes, we've got Trump like ready to send out checks to people. And maybe it won't happen or anything, but what I see happening is a crash. And I said this in our last stream, like a crash that comes, and then they send out these checks, and whether it's through like World Liberty Financial or like some weird thing like that, but they essentially give the checks in a way that's part of some type of sovereign wealth fund that we have, because remember, we're establishing the Bitcoin reserve and the crypto reserve, all these different sovereign wealth funds that we made to what are considered kind of sovereign wealth funds. I don't think they are in name, but I know that what I'm trying to think of his name, the guy that Robert has on Winter. His last
Russ
name's Winter. I'm
Winter.
just for Russ
Russ
Winter. Okay,
Winter.
I was like, I wanted to
Yeah,
call him Quick
our
Winter. I'm
boy
like, no.
Russ. Shout out.
I know he used the term sovereign wealth fund for some of the stuff that Trump was doing. With that sovereign wealth fund, you could, because it would be existing in crypto, you could take that money, you could give it to the American people and say, well, you need to onboard this money into crypto. And right now, the only people who have the power to stop, say you did this for the whole entire world, okay? Because that's what it's looking like, and I'll kind of wrap back around to this. But if you did that, China's the only one who's able to stop it. But as Masaki was talking about today, China's really doing like poor financially in certain regards, at least like in the regards in which they could stop us from giving that out to the entire world and onboarding them onto a digital payment system, a digital dollar and all that. There's not a whole lot they can do. But even if they do, you've got that connecting point of the IMEC corridor, Saudi, and all of these countries in the Middle East right there, the Gulf countries in particular. You've got that neutrality right there to where you can move money through there. And this is, Masaki talked about this, what XRP was originally going to be. Maybe they made other plans for it. it's still involved in some capacity to this, but who knows with the other coins what they're going to do. There's another coin I'm looking at called Stronghold that
Yeah.
seems to it's a smaller coin, but it seems to take a lot of what we thought would be the retail investors. I kind of think it might flow into something more like that deals with flow between merchants and people instead of direct peer-to-peer transfer. And then there's another privacy layer to it as well, which gets into deeper stuff. I won't get sidetracked on that, but
get sidetracked, man. We love that here.
Oh, well, I mean,
all about the tangents and the sidetracks. Yeah, go, dude. Like, I mean, maybe it's going to be the kind of coin that's, you know, just for consumers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because I know
like
XLM was meant
Sam's
to
Club
be
has
that.
their own coin, or Walmart has their own coin, or you know what I mean? Or it could be a consumer coin that's just based off of, you know, like I guess Walmart and Sam's Club are the same people, but I see what you're saying. Like, I get what you mean, and I can see where this could roll out.
I like what you said about the Iraqi dinar there too, because I've heard a lot of
Oh
stuff
yeah.
around the Iraqi
Oh my
dinar, so it's like
gosh.
interesting. I wasn't even
Christ.
thinking about that as I went
Fucking
into
A.
all of this.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Um,
Iraqi dinar. You know who taught me about that was Janine. Because she was
oh
actually
yeah,
working on a really serious case where somebody tried to set up like a freaking trust fund, or like they tried to set up a trust, but then they set it up in somebody else's name, and then they bought a bunch of Iraqi dinar because it's at a low price and it's at a high like everybody's buying it.
yeah, I know. One of my like bigger XRP people had me considering that for a while, but I ended up just doing full XRP. And but it's something I still would go and get though, because yeah, there's something around the exchange rate and like what they'll have to honor. I know it was really interesting to see that, because and when they switch to the new financial system, I guess that will I could see that though with this new information, and I haven't even gone through it all yet, but I could see that. And China right now is the biggest customer also of the Saudi oil, which is interesting because a lot of people still think we're like getting so much of our oil, and we are getting a lot of oil from the Middle East and everything like that. But we've really pivoted to, you know, there's the Venezuelan oil, and then it's all of a sudden we're just going
For now.
extreme on Venezuela versus all these other countries.
We
So
buy it
it's
till
just
we
interesting. It's
take
like,
it.
what is he not playing ball? Why are we all of a sudden getting aggressive? Well, that's clearly like it's instrumental for our plans to have that oil because of something that's going to be going on with the Middle Eastern countries. And so China being the biggest customer right now, and I know like Russia's getting oil from them too, like everyone gets oil from them, but they're essentially using through the trade of the oil, they're using that as a way to like that's how Saudi gets their own money on there. And then in other ways, like you can do that as trade. There's a lot of different really weird GDP things they do, but that connection between them is what's important to view, and how that money is being moved onto the stable coin rails for the new system that's under us. And that's through the World Liberty Financial. And it benefits our treasuries and stuff like that. So you're wondering like where does this actually go in terms of the institution of it? Because it couldn't just be World Liberty Financial. And this is where it gets really interesting, because I don't know if you know or have heard of CZ. He is the guy from Binance who got released, got pardoned by Trump.
Oh, okay.
And so with that, he got pardoned by Trump, and then he was like, okay, but like part of the deal of him getting pardoned by Trump was he had to allow the compliance, the US government became the compliance department for Binance. And so essentially it was co-opted.
Is this
Co-opted
Baron
Binance.
involved? Is this Baron involved?
I would assume that Barron's involved, and Eric. I haven't seen anything on paper, but
Oh,
I would assume
Eric?
he's involved.
Really, Eric?
Because Eric's got the World Liberty Financial
Oh,
stuff
God,
that
he's so
he's got going
stupid.
on.
He's not the brightest.
Yeah, no, he's more of like the businessman. I don't even know if he's a Capricorn, but he just like gives me Capricorn placements, you know?
I would totally.
He's like the face of it.
Baron has the magic in that family.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Stuff is so
And
weird, man.
with but that's, it seems like they're co-opting Binance, and then there was this controversy around all the files that Binance had. They shared them all with the government. So it's like they're kind of this layer. I'm thinking it will be on Binance when they do these payouts to people and everything to onboard them onto the new financial system. Now that I know this, it looks like it's going to go through Binance. So Binance is what they're going to bring everyone on. It is like, as far as I know, it's the largest exchange, as far as I know. I mean, unless something changed in the last few months since that was the case, but and then this is what's funny too. Right after you had that happen, then you had that Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund investing all of this money into Binance. And that was like that they did it, you know, that was the World Liberty Financial token they bought, but essentially World Liberty Financial was on a select few amount of exchanges. You know, it was a bit harder to get. And then once they got CZ out and they made that agreement to co-opt the government into the, you know, environment of CZ, into the compliance department, then they brought on World Liberty Financial. And that's when you had the Saudis like buying through there and onboarding, because there's that exchange in between that kind of acts as that third party. Even though it's co-opted, it makes the Saudis feel safer about that. So they're definitely preparing for that. And then, you know, you add to the context that Trump did this tour of the Middle East and all that, and like what the deals that he was making there. So he was going around and using World Liberty Financial as this investment point for the Middle East and for China and all that. And you know, they're just he's buying the treasuries. I kind of brought this up earlier, but then he just goes and takes that money, he buys the treasuries, he like makes money on money in a type of way it fucks the bank. Yeah. And then you've got these different factions that are all working, because you've got like I guess you can call it the financial industrial complex. And that's like the banks, world banks, all that kind of stuff, kind of the old money systems and all that. And they're the ones that are really, I mean, they're just not doing good stuff for the economy right now. And they want everything to be debt-based. And I'm not saying we're moving away from debt-based, but they've got an old way of looking at money. And then you've got like the military industrial complex and the stuff that they're doing overseas. This is also really bad for the dollar. And so this is the tension that we're seeing of the bad stuff with the dollar that's devaluing the currency, that's creating our issues. And then on the other end, you got the stable coin rails, the new systems coming in, like new transfer systems and all that. You've also got like investments, ETF type of stuff, where they're controlling like how the money flows around the system. I guess it like controls the levers through which it happens and all that. And when you're looking at systems like that, you know, if you want to even look at Elon Musk, I'm getting a little sidetracked, but if you want to look at Elon Musk, like he gets forced into playing ball with these people, because what they can do is when he does the things that are expected of him, then they essentially loan him more money. This is why he's the richest man in the world right now. Or, well, you know, that with an asterisk next to it, obviously. But
well, yeah, because he's going through that. He's going through that Chiron square right now to his Jupiter in the Cancer by his sun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so and it's interesting because they do margin. It's so funny you bring that up, because they do the margin calls on him when he goes against them. They'll margin call his Tesla stock, like, and punish him, but then they'll loan him more money to do more stuff if he's playing ball with what the agenda is. And then you've got the interregnum synarchy, where there's these different factions all doing it, and this happens within the whole financial ecosystem as well. But there is a disagreement going on within the financial ecosystem, and the prevailing wind that the Trump administration is on. And you know, I'm so anti-Trump these days. I voted for him all 3 times, and I'm like, you know, like but I'm just gonna say I'm not like a sycophant for Trump at all. But the prevailing winds with the Trump ecosystem seem to be bringing this, like I said earlier, to a multipolar economic system, with a new center being what's going on in the Middle East. And that's why we have this huge focus on Israel and everything. So yeah, kind of wrapping back around with Binance and adding World Liberty Financial. So this allows us to like keep rolling over the debt. And then on the other end of this is like the bad end of the financials that are going on to maintain and keep the stock market afloat while they set up this whole system. That's why they're circulating all these AI stocks until the AI bubble bursts. And it seems like they're planning for when it's going to burst. One of the things that I really liked it's funny, I've just been listening to Owen Schroyer lately because he's like so fired up and he like just gets me pissed off about stuff. And I like need that energy right now. I want to be like pissed off, fired up, you know, be like, oh, okay. Like it like pushes me to do research.
Your whole generation does. Oh my gosh. You might have missed the Pluto and Sag by like this much, but I swear you still have some of that vibe.
Oh yeah, yeah. And but what he was talking about, Owen Schroyer, I know it was around I'm like kind of losing my my spot here. The circulating of the AI stocks. Shit. I'll get back to it, but there was oh yeah, he was talking about how the same thing I'm talking about, how they're circulating all of this stuff and everything, but it's almost like they're just preparing for something that none of us are aware of, and like maybe there's a false flag. It seems like it's going to be coordinated with the false flag, and then a huge downturn in the economy. Oh yeah, that was the thing he was also saying, is they messed up in COVID with trying the same type of thing because they didn't have the infrastructure built for having medical tyranny, essentially is what they wanted. So you saw it like they really tried their best, but it eventually fell apart and all that. And the new way they're going to try to bring in their world control and all that is going to be under this economic type of system that's going to force in the entire control grid. This will just be the first wave, but they want to make absolute sure that they have the infrastructure in place this time, because they didn't during COVID. They thought they could build the infrastructure as they went, and that didn't work out. So what you got here is they're circling and keeping the stock market looking good. Trump up here, you know, he just went on like 2 nights ago and was talking about like everything's freaking amazing. Like just stop, guys. Everything's great.
Hottest country in the world right now. We're hot. We're hot.
Right. It was such a struggle session. I'm like, what, dude? And it was like, I forgot what Mercury was squaring, but I'm like, bro, I could see that Mercury square right now. Like, holy shit.
Like, I'm just doing the Macarena over here. I'm an American. Like, what the?
Yeah, dude. I'm like,
I'm glad I decided
I don't know.
drink.
I don't know if he's. Oh my god, I know. I love. It's zesty. It's zesty. I love it. It's the Sag zestiness, especially with that new moon charge in it. You know. But with yeah, there was the whole thing with Trump coming up and he's gaslighting us and all that, but they're just keeping it afloat on paper as long as they can, getting the treasury system ready for us just moving over. And then you're even seeing them starting to cut the rates too. Their stated goal for cutting these rates is 300 BPS. So we still have like, 200 something to go. So as it starts to crash, like I think they're going to continually cut rates, but everyone's just you're going to have all these businesses like, oh, now it's time. We're going to onboard to the new system, Rates will keep going down, but you won't see that reflected in the economy, where usually it's going to be a money printer thing, like where money printer go burr whenever the rates cut. Well, this is like a rate cut that we just had recently, and it did not hit the market well. And, the jobs numbers do play a part in that too, but typically like that's what's giving people more confidence because they know what comes with the rate cut. But it's like, I think we'll continue to get these rate cuts and we're just not going to really see anything huge from it. It might like stabilize, it might give people confidence and everything, but those are the retail investors who don't know all this stuff that we have moving in the background here.
I wonder if sometime we should probably do a show with Janine sometime, just if she's willing to, or if she is into that. Like we wouldn't like Janine, I don't know how you feel about like having your face on the screen. We don't have to have your face or whatever, but like she's so knowledgeable about real estate and she's so knowledgeable about currency and wealth in general. From my own personal experience, I would say Peter Bayonne in chat is also talking about the year 2017, and 2017 was really a pivotal year. I don't know if it was a magical year. It's the year that apparently, well, there's some discrepancy as to when our president converted to Judaism. But 2017 was a really pivotal year, I think, economically and financially, like real estate wise. 2017 was a year that I cashed out financially on a real estate situation that I was working with. Like I was a property manager actually working for ultimately a Chinese government entity. Like here I am, Esperanza Vence Tarot. Like I worked for the fucking dark side, y'all. Like I worked for the fucking dark side, and I'll tell you what it was. What it was is that I answered an ad on Craigslist. I had no idea who these fucking people were. They have their LLCs in the United States under totally different names. You would not even know, you would not even be able to like really like unthread the knots and sort of link these to Chinese nationals. But like basically the Chinese Communist Party is eating the United States in from the coasts inward. I think that that's the war tactic here, and I think it's coming from the inside out. The question is when these people are here and when they're working, A, are they going to assimilate? And when they assimilate, are they going to do the like Stockholm syndrome thing and then be on the people's side? You know, nobody wants to go back to China. Nobody wants to do that. The actual citizens that they have here, like, are probably have more in common with us than with them. You know, just like how we have more in common with each other than we do with these top players or with the players who are like exerting their will on reality. When I worked in this situation, I worked as a property manager for a company that's probably been doing this all over our country. But what I wanted to say, or what I believe, is that they're eating us up from the inside out with the real estate as a sort of long game strategy. I think there's a difference between the strategy of the East and the strategy of the West. I would say that the East is more Saturnian and the West is more Aryan.
Oh yeah.
What say you?
Yeah, more Saturnian for sure, because they're just used to dealing in dynasties and long periods of time with their kingdoms, their empires, and all that stuff. They're used to. They have even just generationally, you see the way they plan out for generations they won't even be alive for while they're still
exactly like 100 years into the like their brains can conceptualize time differently than we can in finance and otherwise. So do you think that any of these blips on the radar that we're talking about now, any of these Uranian, I mean, I guess it's about how are you gonna affect the long game? Like, what is your battle strategy and what is going to prevail, I suppose. But I'm gonna stop because I'm like kind of talking over you, and I'm sorry. I'm just
no,
I was enjoying
okay.
what you were saying, but I was like, holy shit! Like I actually did that in my life. Like I actually saw this happen. Like these Chinese, like the way that they're eating our country up. Is it like it started on the coast with like residential buildings, like just like BlackRock is doing here with us, with our government? Trust the Chinese government has at least a 50% stake in our country as far as ownership of actual land. I'm just curious to see how that's all going to play out in the long run, because we talk about these shifts and changes from Pisces into Aries. We talk about the shifts in currency from fiat to crypto. We talk about, you know, the payouts for when they all make us broke and then they make us hungry and then we have to ask daddy for our fucking allowance, you know, or whatever. I'm curious how that's all going to play out in the real estate market over time, like past, well, into 2027 and beyond.
Well, I would love to know what Janine has to say about that, because you know I definitely could know more about it. I feel like I know more than the average person about like the real estate market and stuff, but I'm by no means an expert. But what is interesting with China buying a lot of the real estate here, I think it's because there's uncertainty around where their place in the new system will be by them for some reason. Because it seems obvious to me where it will be. You know, like they'll be part of that like pole of the multipolar world, you know. But I think that there's this threat from them of being overtaken by Russia if they don't play ball in the right way with a lot of this stuff going on around the scenes. So they're trying to secure their stake by buying a lot of property in America, because, and I think they would do it in the Middle East if they could, but it's more about laws. Like they're allowed to at least buy it here in America. So it's kind of like a parasitic thing, you know, like, oh, like I'm going to
Well,
latch on to you
yes.
and like dig
Yes.
my like claws in.
Exactly. And then over like generations and generations, then eventually there's going to be this new world China or whatever. You know what I mean? Eventually all of us are going to have that magical DNA, right? Like seriously. Especially with Misaki talking about how like when people study abroad and they're actually trying to breed with us. You know what I mean? It's like I can tie all of this into like the whole like alien hybrid, like all of these same principles apply. You know what I mean? Like depending who's in
Yeah.
charge, are the Greys in charge? Are they doing hybrid testing on it? Like this is all happening on a smaller scale and on a larger scale. The same story. I
And
don't
I
know if
like
that
what
makes any
Janine said
sense.
about 2026 being a real estate flip. And there's, you know, so much happening with the domino effect. I think they're preparing for that too, because Trump's like, oh, by the way, with this last speech he gave, which was weird. First of all, he had to trick us into watching it. They're doing so bad, he had to trick us into watching the speech. They had to float and leak information out through like Tucker Carlson and be like, oh, Trump's going to announce a war on Venezuela so that everyone tuned
Drip,
in.
drip,
And then he like, it
drip.
was a bait and switch. And we just watched him give propaganda and glaze himself for like, and remind us of the Biden administration to make himself look better for 20 minutes. And then he like afterwards is like, oh yeah, like Susie Wiles made me do this. And like it was great. And she thinks it was great. And it's just like, she's at the center of all this stuff already with the Vanity Fair thing going on. Like, and they had a huge expose on the White House. Like, how politically inept are you that you allowed Vanity Fair, who's clearly not friendly to the White House, to come in? I'm all for the criticism that they gave, but it's like, that's just really stupid. So it's like, I don't know if she's on the way out or something. I know that it was being considered like a month ago, and now I don't hear about it anymore. But I'm kind of getting off topic. Like, I think they're planning for something with the housing market.
I think so too,
And
because like seriously, like what are the Chinese gonna do but sell? They're gonna have to sell all of that. Like, because if they're not getting into the new world or like we were saying, there's that diaspora between the East and the West and who's gonna go with which currencies. I think Chinese people are too poor to put this upon. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I like what Janine just said, the diversion to real, or I think that was a diversion to the real reason why we went to Venezuela. Venezuela is a big whale producer, and America needs to have their fingers in that so China doesn't. I totally agree. It's kind of like
Yeah, the
people
oil.
like all kind of getting their hands in a new system that's going to be set up, and like, and it's going to just flow in a different way. And it's out of a place of mutual, like mutually assured destruction, you could say, or like mutual assurances, like if you want to put it in the higher octave of it. But I think that that's like really where China is at. It's like, okay, well, we'll have a stake of the real estate, because if we aren't able to make this new economic system on our end and Russia takes over, then this gives us
Yeah.
power over Russia. This gives us some kind of check and balance as we move into this multipolar world, because it has been a
Yeah.
unipolar world with the US really controlling everything. Like, we can say stuff with Russia is going on and with China, and that like they've got such and such level of power, but how much of that power has been developed since World War II? At a certain point, we were the unipolar part of the world. We had the petrodollar. Petrodollar's failing. These military operations are failing, which really makes the petrodollar lose its legitimacy, because it was only through force that we were able to maintain that legitimacy and supremacy of the petrodollar. And I'm just looking at. I think another thing that you're seeing as a result of this too is the extreme populism, because the economy, it's like super K-shaped right now. Like we're just getting into this K-shaped economy, and Americans are subsidizing. We're
Could you
essentially
explain to
subsidized.
me? Could you,
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just an ignorant farmer from Wisconsin. Could you explain to me what is a K-shaped economy? What is that? What is that?
Yeah,
Like I
I
literally
actually
don't even
hadn't
know.
I hadn't heard about a K-shaped economy until recently, but what I wrote next to it as like the explanation of it is like is essentially it's the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. And
Oh,
then
gotcha.
like
Okay.
the
Normal
method through
shape.
which that's happening, normal shape, right? The method through that's happening and what makes it essentially K-shape, like versus other times, because this would separate it from just normal inflation, is that we're actually starting to subsidize the US debt. Is what's going on right now. It's like that's how this like breakaway is happening, where we're getting poor and the rich are getting richer, because they're forcing us to, in simple terms of a much more complex idea, we're subsidizing the debt. And this is besides the subsidization that's going on with the AI data centers through our electricity and all that stuff. Like that's not even like the debt we're talking about, but just the way in which
I
they're
forgot about the
doing all this
electricity.
stuff I've kind of talked about.
Not to
And then I'll get
mention,
into some more stuff that connects it. But really we're subsidizing the debts right now. And it's, you know, one of the ways is through like this bond stuff as we're going it, because when you're taking this money that's coming in, this foreign money, you're into the crypto market, and then that money's being taken to make money on top of money on the bonds. Besides the inflationary aspect that already exists within a debt-based currency itself, that is just subsidizing people who aren't able to save, who can't save massive amounts of money, who can't get their money into the proper bonds or things like that and move their money in the right way. It just inflates away on a deeper level that currency, as a simple term to use for it. But yeah, like pretty much the presidents are just bond salesmen. They're all bond salesmen, and that's just an easy way to like look at it. And so now you kind of, it makes Trump's behavior make more sense, and the things that he's doing. It's like, oh, okay. So this is kind of why, like, he has to like set up bonds in this way, and that way to get us ready for the new system. And he needs people buying the bonds for that. And that's what we see is foreign investors everywhere buying these bonds. And we're essentially the exit liquidity for it. Like what we're seeing, and I've said this for years before I even knew a lot of this newer stuff I'm finding out, that the stock market will be exit liquidity. It will be the exit liquidity for everyone for all the bigger companies to onboard to the new financial system. That's why I was
it's
even
like
saying
the only
last year,
solid
like,
thing left. Like there's nothing solid left.
Mm-hmm. And they're already talking about tokenizing or like putting it on the blockchain, the stock market. And I think we see that move over after it's already been used as exit liquidity, like, and it's in shambles and stuff. And sure, like it'll get there, but we're talking about an AI bubble that's popping. Like, will it ever get to those levels? Did the .com bubble ever get to those levels? And you can talk about the differences between the .com bubble and the AI bubble and stuff, because they're there. But did the .com bubble ever get back up to the heights it was at? And that's the cope that I see all the time, is like, oh, well, but the stock market always comes back. It's like, okay, well, we're in
until it doesn't,
the biggest
until
bubble.
it dies and you dance on its grave.
I mean, are you going to wait another 20 years for the next bubble in the next thing? You know, because we have no idea. Is this going to be?
Time.
Yeah,
unless
yeah,
their organs
exactly.
get harvested.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
I mean, it all comes back around. It all comes back around. It's like, how do we feed and how do we get fed upon? Like those are just the basic questions. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it seems like our end game, and it may not go this way, but we should land somewhere near this with the stuff that's already been made, the infrastructure that's behind it, is to just to simplify kind of a lot of what I've been going through and the evidence I've given, to offer stable coins to every citizen of the world who can access like the mobile payment system. And we're talking about like Apple Pay, Google Pay, all that stuff. But then on top of that, there's this layer of the Binance stuff and whatever government agency is going to be set up around this or in this. You know, we already see that there's the government. It has like joined with Binance and all that. So we could see it through that, connecting it to the Apple Pay and Google Pay and all that. And you really can kind of already do that. It's in the early stages and stuff. And I'm sure it's advanced since earlier this year when I looked at it, but you can get cards that are tied to your crypto account, and then you can put that onto the payment system. So it seems like we're going to do that. And then it'll just be the new tender for maybe world citizens, but at the very least for the Western Hemisphere. And then there will be an actual legal tender for world citizens that comes out of the Middle East, that is this neutral bridge between both of, and then you've got like the one that's in the east too, and then that will be kind of probably, as we talk more about it, I feel like it will be fought between Russia and China for it, and that's why China wants these stakes that it's got over here in the real estate market in these weird places, and we're offsetting that by the stuff we're doing in Venezuela that Janine talked about too, because China's down there, so there's this encroachment that's going on. But
I also think that that's why the COVID stuff started in China and has expressed itself over to here, because it's not like it's not like AIDS or whatever, like the last freaking pandemic where AIDS started in Africa and then went to wherever the fuck it went. You know what I'm saying? Like gay New York or Miami or what have you. AIDS went every fucking where. COVID went from China to here. And then Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson got on a fucking plane and brought it to Europe, whatever. Like, but
oh yeah, right.
Literally COVID. And I think that that's because of what you're saying about the shift in currency, because seriously, like a digital currency is too expensive to maintain with poor people. Poor people are not fucking using credit cards like poor people are not using their phone to do Apple Pay. Poor people don't even have an Apple phone. China is full of people because they thought that by having people and by birthing people, but then they started that one child policy when they were like, oh, wrong approach. One child policy, the rest of you go out and parasite and thrive in these other cultures. But like, I feel that China and the United States in particular are not going to be able to, like, they have to exterminate a certain amount of people in order for this to work. And they have to exterminate the people that are not digital.
Yeah, and you had
the old people, the weak
Grimes,
people, the poor people.
Grimes, Elon's ex-wife or something like that.
Oh,
or
yeah,
like
that DJ. She had like 10 of his kids or something? Like she had like 1 million of his kids.
Yeah. And she
what's Grimes saying? Oh my gosh,
about,
I haven't heard from Grimes for years. What is her
well,
deal?
she predicted COVID. So there's that. She predicted that, and then recently she was talking about there will be a mass casualty event soon. And it's like, okay, well, she's got a pretty good track record for predicting mass casualty events. So maybe it's kind of like,
maybe they pulled her into the scene as like a wizard. Maybe Grimes was like a DJ wizard or a witch or something.
She seems to be like a high priestess for sure.
Exactly. With that white crazy hair that she used to rock. That white, like platinum, like she had her hair like all the way bleached, like white. Remember those days? Like when her and Elon first started getting together. I think that was her. I don't really pay attention.
She seems like she doesn't let a single conjunction go to waste.
I'll drink to that. Okay.
Oh my God. I'm starting to wrap up here. I just wanted to go over, there's like this kind of last part here I've got of capital controls. Because, we've got this environment of record low birth rates, drug addiction, systems collapsing, immigrations. Our governments aren't sovereign anymore. And it's just like that whole, there's the powerful factions of corporate interests. The one I mentioned a couple of these, but I'll kind of go into these financial industrial complex. That's like the banks, the Fed, all that. Private equity, venture capital, investment banks, they're the ones who will financialize and securitize a lot of like what's going on in the systems itself. There's the ETFs and the money manager. They're controlling all these passive investment flows. So, like you've heard of the ETFs where people put money into them and then like they're getting a passive because it's a collection of stocks and they know when to buy, when to sell. And then that's a control of the passive investment flows right there. So you see kind of this strain between like all of these different factions right here. I think it would be really the on the bad side of it is military industrial complex, like the tech oligarchs, that kind of stuff, and like what they're doing. I think I was saying that right. The financial industrial complex, and then like the tech oligarchs, and it would be like the investment banks, I believe. They're kind of on the side, and the ETFs on the side that are really creating the strain on the dollar. And then on the other side, you've got the, you know, the private equity, the venture capital, and all that. Those would be the foreign investors that are going into the stable coins. Then you've got like the tech part of that side as well. And there's just this huge strain between the strengthening and weakening of the dollar. I kind of went over that, but I went over like the Elon Musk stuff in that example.
And speaking of the military-industrial complex, though, I mean, I think that you are correct in that, because I think there is going to be a one last pump of war, just like there's going to be one last pump of crypto, one last pump of everything. I think there is going to be one last pump of war as well before we move out of this Saturn. Well, Saturn's going to be in Aries for, what is it, 14 years? How long does the Saturn cycle last in Aries?
Neptune in Aries for 14.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Saturn for like 3 to 3.5 years or something. I think we already got through the half year technically, because you kind of count the retrograde period a little bit.
Okay, in and out.
But so I think it's like 3 years. I think Robert was saying today it was 2030 was when it's fully out. So that's kind of like more 5 years, but it will start to retrograde out within like 3 years or something, after about 3 years. Or it'll ingress rather, and then retrograde back.
Janine says, I think it's going to be really hard to get bank loans for houses when the real estate market comes back, because the banks are going to take a huge hit, especially when we go digital. Yeah. So, I mean, basically, as these changes occur, like the money's not going to flow like how it is right now. You know what I mean? Right now, we're in a pretty good flow, you know?
Yeah. But... And I think she's on to, like, I'll add to what she's saying, because what she's on to, I totally agree with. And remember I was saying earlier how we're essentially buying all these treasuries and stuff, but on the other end of this, because of the peg other countries are having to the dollar, they're being forced to sell gold and sell treasuries in order to maintain their peg to the dollar. And eventually they're going to not be able to do it. I think in Japan is one of those, a similar situation that you saw with that. I'd have to like do a little bit deeper research, but off of what I know of it off the top of my head, I think that's pretty accurate. But eventually you're going to see currency after currency after currency that depegs from the dollar, and it'll start a downward spiral. And that's why I really worry about what I've been saying with like, oh, is it even going to be safe to have your money in the dollar at that point?
And China might have shot themselves in the foot, because they might have to sell all of this real estate that they've been stacking these freaking chess pieces in our country, but they might actually have to sell some of that off and retreat and regroup. Because I mean, I know that the tariff thing was sort of like the last call basically from our administration, but from an administrational standpoint, but like once these currencies do shift, basically they're only aligned with Russia.
Yeah, and that's something I should add, because you bring up with the Russia stuff, is as they've been forced to sell their like gold and their treasury stuff and all that, the only option they have to try to preserve some of that wealth is to bring that money into the stable coins here in the US. So it's essentially a way that we've forced them into onboarding the system, investing into this new system.
And who can
like
play?
How many countries?
Yeah,
like the only people really that can put up a fight is China and Russia against having to invest in this system, but they're still investing into it, obviously, because of the way that they're trading with the oil and all that stuff. So they're doing it in that type of way, where that's why people aren't talking about it, because it's the method in which it's not a direct cash payment, because they've got the sanctions and stuff that have been, I think we forget about the sanctions. There's the tariffs on China, but the sanctions that have been on Russia. And so that's why they're getting, you know, Iran and then the Gulf countries, that's where they're getting their oil now. And then this brings all the stuff in Iran into a brand new context. Like, I guess they were not willing to get on board with this system. That brings another layer to it, you know?
Yeah. So,
and there was the nuclear physicist that just died recently too. There was an interesting connection to Iran. He was working on a form of clean energy, and he just showed up dead. This was like a day or two ago.
Oh, it's cheapers.
Because this gets
I bet
into
you
the
they didn't
AI
even want his
stuff.
organs. I bet you they just wasted all his parts too. They
Oh
probably
my
didn't
God,
even
you're
get any
ridiculous.
adrenochrome off this motherfucker.
You're
What the
wild. I
fuck?
love it.
I am wild
Oh my
because
God.
I don't give a fuck. You know, YouTube, I'm very grateful for YouTube. This is a great product. It's the only freaking social media that I enjoy. I enjoy being here. I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy chatting. And that's, I don't enjoy anything else on social media. Fuck Meta, fuck all their products. Google makes a really good product, and I
Yeah,
really
I
fucking
pay
love this.
I pay for premium because I just love it so much. Like I'm always clicking on a new video playing it in the background every day. So I'm like, I need
I
premium.
was
I
gonna
can't be
say
like,
that said, I ain't paying for shit, and I don't give a fuck about shit because YouTube doesn't give a fuck about me. Like, I'm just happy till they pull the fucking plug on everything, till they pull the fucking plug on the internet in general, by the way, which might be another topic for an entire, you know, once we get into the spring and get more into this Saturnian, Aquarian, one size fits all cycle, that might be a show in the future. But
and I can
literally,
even bring
like,
that in the part 2 because I'll start to get into the control grid and all that. I'm going to tie all of that
exactly. And you
because
gotta
this
have so
just
many
lays
social
out.
credit scores to say a swear
Yep.
word on the internet and all that fucking shit. But from now until then, I'm doing the Sagittarius thing. I'm like, fuck, shit, drink. Like, I don't
Oh
care
yeah.
because they don't love my algorithm anyway. So I might as well just say what the fuck I want to say.
Capricorn's going to be when I have a nice drink. Capricorn season. It's going to be the Cancer full moon. I was like, I want to be having fun that day.
We will have fun that day. Absolutely. So
I
to
was
bring it
writing
back
down.
around, yeah.
I'm pretty much like we're just wrapping up here. If you want me to just.
Yeah, probably.
Because I've got like these couple things. Yeah, because I didn't realize I'd take this long to kind of get through it. But I love the talking we've been doing. But we should wrap up.
I like to talk too, and I mean, I love. Thank you for hanging out with us, you guys. Everybody in the chat, like, big love. Like, I'm glad we're spending our Friday nights together with our little candles and chilling. But like, don't feel like you have to hang. Like just to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to like pity watch it, but like, seriously, like, I could sit and talk to you for like 6 freaking hours, and I might, because I don't give a shit. Like, if people want to come back after this is already like uploaded and stuff, if YouTube lets me keep it up, basically. But like, whatever, you know, I'm very much, I love this, and thank you.
Yeah.
And I don't care how long it takes. At last episode, I was a little bit like audience centric. I was like, oh, do people like this? Like, are people gonna tune in? Like, do we want to like keep rolling and keep our topics? This time I'm like, fuck it.
Like, yeah, right.
But yeah,
I know once we like, because we had gotten to like 2 hours or something like that, and I hadn't even gotten into the market stuff. I'm like, oh hey, we're just gonna go for it. We're gonna have a good night. It's Friday.
People are like
it has to be up.
Like, see you next time. Bye, Sharon. I love you. Yeah. Sharon's like, bye. Bye. See you next.
Like, see ya.
We're here. We're here every 2 weeks. We're here every new moon and every full moon. So far, God willing. But thank you so much for everybody that, you know, finds something. If somebody can find some sort of like little tiny gem of what we're saying, and if we can all kind of like gather here and kind of figure out what the weather is, then we can figure out what kind of gear we need, you know, like, do I have an umbrella? Like, do you have rain gear? Do I have, you know, squash? Like, what can we all do together to figure this out? So that's pretty much where we're at. But bye, love you, bye, Sam. So yeah, if you want to just bring it back around, Raffi.
Yeah, I really, a lot of this stuff that I wrote down in the summary, I kind of went over as we were talking about it, the different, you know, I talked about the tech and military complex and what they're doing with the dollar, and then like the weakening through the other stuff. But one thing I didn't add is the with the petro yuan or you know, yuan, the Chinese currency and all that. There's, and then the euro dollar itself, you can tie all that into the petrodollar and how that's being weakened and stuff. And then you can also bring in the BRIC countries, like I'm forgetting like all the countries that are in it, but like, you know, they've been like doing all of their meetings and they've got their kind of stuff. And that seems like their backup plan or their counter to what is coming in, all the stuff that we talked about tonight in terms of the currency. And then there's the GCC, and I'm forgetting exactly what it stands for. I should have like wrote it down here, but the GCC it's like the Gulf country like coalition or something like that.
Yes.
So we got like the BRICS and the GCC, and then they've kind of got that going on, and between those, it's like it's us, and then with our petrodollar, and then the new stable coin, and then where GCC is like in the center of the BRICS, which features the petro yuan, and like all of that, and that whole Russia-China system like flowing in. And then this gets into the IMEC corridor itself. And so this is where I can wrap it all around. It's like we're being moved into this multipolar world. There's going to be a control grid that comes with that, you know, and then this is kind of the new way that they're trying to set it up. This is the way they've set up all the rails in place. I know I keep using that word rails, but I mean, it really is just like they're guiding us, because they realized the rails weren't there for COVID, but they're going to have me here for this next psyop that comes in, for the next way that they're going to push us. And then is that going to be a violent thing they do? Like how are they going to move us into this? But it's going to be really interesting. And I think, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything there that I got to. I didn't really lose anything. But if you have a question, if there was the next thing really is the Golden Dome and how the Golden Dome plays into all this. But if there was any, like, I can
tell
kind
me,
of
what is this golden?
bit.
What is this Golden Dome that you speak of? What?
Yeah,
I have no idea what you know me. I'm a freaking vegetable girl living under a rock. Tell me what the Golden Dome is.
Yeah, well, one person I followed for like over 10 years, maybe 15 years at this point, is a dark journalist, Daniel Liss.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of dark journalist. Yeah.
Yeah, and watching the journey with him through what he, you know, if you want to call him the X-Files or whatever, or like the UFO file and stuff, he's a Taurus like me. He's very like measured, and he wants things that are tangible that he can use. He's not a sensationalist or anything, but one of the things that he really gets into, and this is really tied to the Golden Dome and stuff, he'll talk about like the Strategic Defense Initiative, or Star Wars, that was under Reagan, and having like space-based satellites that are weapons and everything, and a space-based surveillance system itself. And it seems like they want to bring the next level of this in through what they call the Golden Dome. And this is going to be a combination of a surveillance system, an energy system too, which is very interesting because of Trump's connection. Like they're trying to bring in nuclear and stuff like that. But then also Trump's connection through his dad, John G. Trump, who was very smart. And I believe it was MIT that he was like a professor there and everything. But he was the first one who looted the Tesla files. He was the first one on the scene. He like got all the stuff. And I think that's why you saw, like, even though Trump has very much shown himself to be part of the elite's system, there was some type of leverage he had when he initially got in that I think was very tangible for all of us to see, where they were standing against him because he's on the same level as them. He can't be pushed around by the military industrial complex because, you know, essentially because he is a part of it. But like his dad gave him all that information. And then on top of that, Roy Cohn, who was his mentor, who knows like where all the bodies are buried in the swamp and all that, like he mentored Trump. So that's kind of where Trump gets his leverage from, and how he was able to kind of push people around, why everyone was so scared about him getting in back in those days. But going back to like Trump's uncle, he had a patented thing for essentially it's vacuum plasma electricity. And the only problem with ever bringing that public was that they didn't know how to stop it from proliferation, just like with like nuclear weapons and all that, because it has highly destructive capability. But now we're at that point where if you have the proper security, like a control grid in place, and you know you're monitoring what everyone is doing, then you can at least have these next level energies that are going to supply all the new AI data centers, which are going to be needed. You know, that energy is going to be needed to supply all of that, so you can actually have that control grid in.
Yeah. There's only so much water.
You can stop. you can stop the proliferation at that point. But it would require total control over all of us. And so that's like the next level. And the financial system also goes into this, because they need to track every single financial transaction. So they need the digital blockchain.
Who is going to be in charge of that? Because those motherfuckers are not going to cooperate, because they all work for fucking Satan, and Satan loves chaos. So at the end of the day, I don't know.
And that's the thing. And that's the interregnum synarchy. It's the last time I'll use it tonight, but the interregnum synarchy, and that's everyone's fighting over who's going to, now that the system's coming together that we've wanted for all these years, it may not be in the form we anticipated, but now that it's coming together, who it gets to control it and all that. And I find it interesting that it's right before the next election. The Golden Dome will go online. It'll be right before the next election, and not this midterm one, but the next general election or whatever.
And you're going to be right on the front lines, working in the election office. Like, you're going to have to report back to us.
If they don't cancel the election.
Oh, jeepers cripes. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because if there's some state of emergency or something.
I love what Thor at the Door said with Joseph Farrell too. Yeah, like Joseph Farrell has been really good with figuring this stuff out. Dark journalists, their talks have been key and instrumental on both the ways they tied this back to the Civil War and the currency wars and all actually, that. But then,
because seriously, I think this is where this is going. And Thor, thank you so much for opening this up into a greater conversation. But I think that like all of the multiple conspiracies that we've been sort of skirting around go to the main conspiracy, which is like this disclosure conversation. And it's so interesting to me because a lot of the people that are in the kind of disclosure UFO world, like blah, 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 like Jimmy Church himself, like the man, on his 13th anniversary podcast last night, he took a huge section of his podcast and he was talking about ordering shit from Temu.
Oh, yeah.
Once people in all of these different groups that we are involved with, like all the chats, once all the fucking chats that I'm chatting in get together and start connecting the dots between all these swirling situations, then we're going to start, okay, like, why do they want a one world government? Why do they want mass surveillance? Why do they give you $1,500 worth of free product on Temu so that they can get in your fucking phone app and actually like spy on your shit through your products every fucking day to get all of this, surveillance on you to make this one world government so that we can finally have the disclosure that we've all been waiting for, just so that we can have commerce just so we can sell our fucking fentanyl to Mars. Or I don't know, probably not Mars. It's probably going to be more like Betelgeuse or some other you know what I mean? Some other binary star fucking system off in the distance or whatever. But Thor is right. Like, unless they get us all on board to one system, then how can we interact with other systems in the universe? Which is just a confirmation that there are other systems in the universe that the people who are in charge on Earth want to be in power of too, because they're fucking bloodthirsty, power-hungry motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Up until this point in time, Earth has not been a big interstellar player. Earth has been Earth. Earth has been cute and pretty and minding our own fucking business in the suburbs. But I think that, Thor brings up a good point. Like, after the Sagittarius season and after Neptune and Saturn move into Aries for good and we start actually cooking with fire, and with the Uranus and Gemini as well for the next 7 years, I think until 2030, like, we're really going to be like evolving into this space where, we're not just talking about interrelating country to country and who's going to be in charge of the currency. I think it's going to be like, who's going to be in charge of the solar system? Who's going to be in charge? Our neighborhoods are going to get a lot bigger. A lot bigger.
Yeah, yeah, and it's you know, with the underlying Pluto and Aquarius and all that stuff. I like that Robert always brings up the strange bedfellows and all that, because
Oh
and
my
now I think we're seeing
gosh.
those first waves with the Uranus predictions and all that, like starting to forge alliances and you know see what's like where everything is leading us. What are we aiming towards under all the Sagittarian energy we've had? Now we get this next 2 week cycle of really having that unlock under the full moon or
Yeah.
the new moon, excuse me.
I'd say fuck around and find out. Aim at everything. Throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Like, I don't think you can really go wrong. Jupiter's protecting us in Cancer. So Jupiter's protecting our country in our fourth house, in our home, right?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Aim
Yeah,
at
that's
multiple targets.
well, and I also like what's happening right now on the at least on the political right now, because obviously half of the political right has turned against Trump at this point. But then it's during us having this Jupiter transit, having all this play with the chart of America. Oh, dude, it's just like my headphone just died. Having all this play with the son of America, because there's this reestablishing that we're seeing of who's going to be the political leader. You know, Charlie Kirk got taken out, and then now it seems like Nick Fuentes is really too. He's ready to fill this vacuum that has been like this power vacuum, and everyone is trying to push him out everywhere, but he's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think once we see Jupiter going direct, you know, is where we really see him kind of reestablish or someone. But I just like that it's like this new leadership that's coming about. That's like the good stuff with this Jupiter in Cancer that I love. And I know Robert brought up some of that too at one point.
Robert's a fucking genius, and the podcast that they had today was just so phenomenal. He's been bringing up these points so for a while. You're right. As has David Palmer, the Leo King, and let's did you get to all the points that you wanted to get to for this new moon in Sagittarius?
Yeah, I got through everything.
Okay, as we close out for this session, since your headphones your headphones give us the indication that we've been talking for however long. But
Yeah.
as we're moving into the next lunation, because the next time that because people in the chat are so kind to us, they say things like, I forget, but I think it was Randy Wilson or somebody said earlier, they were like, oh, I'll come back every week. You guys have good chemistry. So thank you for your feedback. This is totally new. This is totally honestly, this whole thing was unplanned too, wasn't it? It's not like we sat and we were like, let's do a podcast. Like, it was just one of those things where yeah, we were like, let's talk about the moon. And then it's like, I was just thinking, let's talk about the new moon, that one new moon, whichever started us off. What was it? The new moon in Scorpio?
Yeah.
I think it was in my fifth house. And then we were like,
yeah.
And then you got a hold of me and you were like, well, what about the full moon in Gemini? And so now I think we have a podcast. Like we're going to meet up every new moon and full moon and see how it goes. But thank you for being with us, and thank you for your feedback, and thank you, Andy. I love you, Andy. Oh, everybody remembers Andy from the bridge. He's our buddy. He's our moderator.
Oh, hey, Andy.
Yeah, he has a blue wrench. Andy is our bud. Maybe next episode. I know he's a little camera shy, but maybe next episode, if it's okay with him, I'll throw up the little picture of the three of us dancing when David Palmer, the Leo King, was DJing at the Bridge
Man, that was great.
Expo. You and me and Andy were on the stage doing go-go dancer shit. It was great. So Andy, we love you. The interview with Masaki was really good today. Yes. It gives you a lot to chew on. It gives you a lot to think about. And the thing I really love about Robert and Masaki's chemistry together is that Robert pulls back, sits back, and listens to him drop these gems. And the thing about Masaki that I love is what you said, Raffi, is that his laugh. The way that he delivers these genius gems of information, and he's just and he just cracks himself up, but I mean, he's talking about really serious topics like demonic possession and new world order, and you know, he's talking about some really serious shit like crypto, you know, all this stuff. But he does it with a smile, and he delivers things with a spoonful of sugar. And you know, I hope that we're having fun here doing something akin to, you know, just having a conversation that other people can voyeuristically kind of like listen in on, and hopefully grab like a gem or two, or at least a little snack and some popcorn while they sit with us. So thanks for being here, Raffi.
Yeah, I'll have to go back around to David Palmer soon too, because at first it was just I was trying to save money, so I didn't buy High Vibe for a month, and it became like 2 months, and then 3 months, and I'm like, okay, I need to actually get back to High Vibe. Like that's where I started out and everything. But it was also useful for getting me to like use my astrology on my own and not use like David as a cheat guide and stuff. But I've been hearing about some of the great stuff he's coming out with, so I got to like really get back on his stuff and catch
That's
up
a really
with
good
a lot of the
point.
specials, and you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like writing music. Like when you're writing music and you're listening to a lot of the stuff that's going on right there, it's hard to have that line between like, what am I just absorbing from what they're doing, and what am I looking at this chart myself? Like what are my naked eyes seeing? What is coming from within me, or what am I channeling from my guides versus what everybody else is doing? That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
know
that's
a
why
lot
I've
of
like
musicians
been
that like
great
don't
being
listen to
around.
music while they're writing. Yeah. That makes a lot of
Oh yeah, that
sense.
makes sense. Yeah, because that's why I've
Yeah.
been cool being around Robert, because it's just the astro weather and it's not even every
Mhm.
day. And then like I can still take that and I can put it onto other things. I can put it into people's charts and all that stuff. And I'm still utilizing and growing with my astrology, because I try to get in a
Mhm.
place where I'm always growing and I have like some type of focus I'm reaching for. Like next year is aspects. I want to bring a little bit more soul into my astrology because of where it
Yeah.
started from, the marketplace stuff, and then like adding in the mundane and rectifications. Like I want a bit more soul though. So I'm like, if I focus on aspects more, you know, then I can get a bit more soul into it. And
So
also just
your
like
astrology
staying
goals
apart.
are aspects. My astrology goals are degrees. Like I
Oh
want to
yeah.
learn more about the degrees. Janine actually sent me Dane Rudyard's Sabian symbols. She's she sent me
Oh
like the
yeah.
whole and that's my astro goals. Like I want to learn more about the degrees and the degree symbols. Yeah, we all
Yeah,
got
I've been
goals.
liking getting into the degrees and everything with the Sabian
Yes.
symbols in particular, but I'm still gonna pick up step astrology. I've just noticed like with how deep I can go with degrees and with planets crossing each other, and like just having it in my mind when it happens, and then being able to like hone in on a specific time period, and then really like that's where I can start to find the aspects, and like I'm very good at pinpointing that stuff. But I've like the Sabian symbols for like what the extra layer that it brings and everything, and just looking at the slower moving
Yeah.
planet and the Sabian symbol related to that for people's charts, and it says so
And
much. I
this
was looking at the Pluto placements of two people I know, which is a degree apart, and it totally described the dynamic between them. This was like maybe a week ago, and it blew my mind.
it brings in that psychic aspect. It brings in that like ephemeral aspect. It brings in that aspect that you can't necessarily it brings in the divinatory aspect. It really does. You know, because with the chart, you can always use math. You can always use angles. You can always use aspects. You can always boil it down to numbers and angles and math and reason and logic and swords cards in the tarot. Oh, speaking of the tarot, should we just pull one
Oh,
quick little card before we go?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even think to have mine near me, but you got yours over there.
Yep, I have mine over here. I'll bring the candle up here. And
Oh
let's just
yeah,
pull, we're just going to pull one little tarot card to just sort of close out our evening. We love you. Thank you so much. And thank you for saying that, Thor. That was really nice of you to
yeah.
give feedback on our situation here. We're learning together, all of us.
I just laughed out the candle because you said our situation.
Our situation here.
It was just funny.
I'm
Oh
just
man,
checking in to
yeah, I
see.
really like this.
what
There we go.
situation my situation is in. What's that from Lebowski? That one song, like, I'm just checking
Oh,
in
okay. It's a
to
reference.
see
Okay. It was just
what
funny.
situation my situation is in. But yeah, between now, okay, so we have this new moon in Sagittarius now, which we've talked obviously at length about for the past 3 hours. Between now and the full moon in Capricorn coming up right around New Year's, this is a time that I think at the end of the day, and the cards are going to tell us, oh, this is our jumper. This is what the cards have to say. The cards have to say, oh, I love this. Look, this deck of cards is a talker. And if you want to talk to my deck on a personal level, hit the links below. You know where to find me. These
Oh,
are the cards that
wow.
we got for our new moon in Sagittarius. We got the
Wow. You
Emperor
got the Emperor
energy
again.
and we got the Queen of Cups.
I know you got the Empress reversed on your new moon one, but you were saying earlier in the day or something you got the Emperor.
The Emperor energy is coming through really strong right now because guess what? The Emperor has to do with Aries energy. Okay. So this is Saturn in Aries. Okay. This is
That's
Saturn
crazy.
in Aries. This deck of cards literally is like, bitch, you've already had a glass of wine. You're getting a little loopy. You haven't had your dinner yet. We're going to talk to you straight. Okay. We're just going to give you the message, like straight, no chaser. Like my deck talks to me like where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? The deck
Yeah.
is like, girl,
Yeah.
if you're a basic bitch right now, you need basic bitch language. And what I'm telling you right now is that
Oh, man.
Saturn and Neptune are in Aries, and we're feeling this strong vibe of fire right now. We need to get our shit together. We need to be in control. We need to be in control and in charge, but we don't need to be controlling. You know what I'm saying? And this is like what we're kind of talking about being like mutable. And this Queen of Cups energy, this is home, this is patria, this is Cancer energy, this is the United States, this is mother energy, this is like fourth house energy. This is the fourth house energy that you were talking about. Queen of Cups is like being in control of one's emotions so that when we exert our fire and when we exert our drive, we're ready. The Emperor has been training and training and training for years. And when he goes out to battle, he doesn't actually have to do the fighting himself. He can just basically tell other people to do it for him because he's already been doing the work for all these years. He's no spring chicken. He's old. Okay. And so Saturn and Neptune coming to these last degrees of Pisces before moving into Aries, they're going to be mature. Saturn and Neptune, when they come into Aries, they've already gone through like the 28 to 29 degree of the Pisces energy here. This doesn't have to be Cancer energy. This can be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, any water energy here. But I just really feel like these cards are talking about Saturn and Neptune making that shift from water into fire and how we are going to take charge and take control and take personal sovereignty and find the restrictions and the boundaries that we need to channel our fire appropriately into this next phase of existence, you know, and as individuals, but also as leaders of larger groups.
And it's so fitting too, because we talked a lot about the new moon and everything, but there was this huge emphasis of this one versus all the other streams that we did where we were really tying in, probably because of the market stuff, but just tying it back to that conjunction that's coming up in Aries there with Saturn Neptune.
Yeah.
It's like there's just something around it. Like it I don't know why it's bringing things up so deeply for that time period. And even in my personal friend groups and stuff like that, I've been bringing it up, just like that. I've just been thinking about it and what's coming with that, you know.
I think these two cards really delineate to that expression of that 13th of February energy that you were talking about, Raffi. Because that is the day that Saturn ingresses into that's the day that Saturn ingresses into Aries.
It's funny. You were also talking about the power of the number 13 today too. And I'm born on the 13th too.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe we'll keep on between now and the full moon in Cancer. Between now and the full moon in Cancer, guys, Which is funny because that was just what we were talking about before we pulled these cards. So this is how it works. This is how it works with intuition. This is how it works with being a, you know, you just kind of take the info as it comes and just try to get out of the way. At least that's, I try to just speak what comes. And
Yeah, I like
God,
with yours,
God's
such
will
beautiful
be
stuff comes
done.
through that I wouldn't even expected.
God's will be
With
done.
like say your one from what 2 days ago, the new moon tarot pull that you did.
Oh,
Like
thank
that
you so
was,
much for being there, by the way. I saw you in the chat,
oh yeah.
Raffi. Thank you for coming to my channel. I appreciate it.
I
Yeah, I
know,
did
right
a
when I
full
got in, I was noticing it
yeah.
was muted, and that's when you had seen it wasn't. So
Oh,
then it was
shit.
like, okay, cool. Like
Man,
so I didn't like miss
dude.
anything.
See, that's why I do those readings before you and I come on, because I'm like, well, before I have a guest in my house, I better make sure my
Yeah.
house is clean, you know? So
Yeah.
I do the 10 card Celtic cross reading on my own live, you know, before I invite you here, so that hopefully I don't, I'll still fuck up. Don't worry. I'll always fuck up. That's not a problem. But you know, like, yeah, I did that whole reading like for 10 minutes with no sound, but it's all good. Yeah, well, I love you. That's what the cards have to say. This is what we have to say. If anybody wants to get a hold of us, this is how you get a hold of Raffi. You can book a reading. He can do your chart rectification. He can, obviously, if you guys want to have a financial conversation, are you open to that?
Oh yeah, we can. I mean, I'm always down to talk finance and any of the things that like interest me, like around astrology. We can tie it into astrology. We don't even have to bring in the astrology or anything.
Yeah.
But anything like that. I'll be changing my username too soon. Maybe I'm thinking Night's Light. I got to check out that one dude too, the Nightlight Astrology, and make sure
Well,
I'm not
honestly,
conflicting
people
with
might
things. But
accidentally click on your shit, so it might be a good name. You know what I
I
mean?
know,
Like,
right, right.
seriously, because someone might accidentally like miss, but then they land on you, you know? So that's, hey, man, if the algorithm is doing what it's doing, then we got to do what we're doing too. But you got to pick a name that fits you, that you feel great about. And then when you do, you let us know what you decide.
Yeah, so that's what I've been really drawn towards, is like that's a username that's stuck with me my whole life, Night's Light. So I'm like, I'm really liking that one, and that's what I
I
was going
love
by,
it.
like in like Dallas and all that. So I'm like, I'll probably
Yeah.
do that. But yeah, and I'll have a website up soon. I was waiting to be out of my year 9. So
Mm.
once we hit January, I'll like start to get that stuff up. I'll get more uploads going on a daily
Yeah.
basis, and there will be kind of more clarity around the types of predictions I can do, transit readings, natal readings, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and then marketplace stuff too that I'm kind of getting more into, I should say, because I've already been into it. That's my start. But
And you can get a hold of me too if you want to on my website, which is garbage, because I'm freaking a working you know what I mean? Like, I've been taking these past couple of months to do my shit and do my work and to do this as I see fit. However, generally speaking, I'm at the farm, I'm bartending, I'm giving readings. I'm like, I freaking work from freaking like 6 in the morning until 3 in the morning sometimes. Like, I
I was
am
wondering because it
maxing,
did seem like there was this different,
dude.
yeah, like capacity for like you
I
had of doing
literally
new
am
things.
so fortunate to be, knock on wood, so far so good, but like my health is pretty good, especially for my age. But motherfucker, I'm sick of working this
And you look
hard.
good.
So, oh, sweetie, mashallah, mashallah. Look at me, like adapting my new Arabic life already. Like I'm already, I'm already on the right wave. I'm ready. But mashallah, mashallah means like in Arabic, mashallah means like if someone gives you a compliment, you're saying at the same time, you're saying thank you. And at the same time, you're saying thanks be to God, that thanks only to God that this is the situation. And also, you're protecting yourself from the evil eye.
Oh,
So,
really? Oh my goodness.
mashallah is like a conjunctive phrase that means a lot of things. But at the end of the day,
Mashallah. Okay.
Yeah, if you give someone a compliment like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love your white shirt. It looks so pretty, mashallah. God protect you.
Oh,
God protect you from the evil eye, you know. Um, but yeah, like I really feel that the conversation is going to keep rolling. I feel like once we get to this Cancer full moon, we're going to have a lot of illumination on a lot of these topics that we've been rolling out. I think that the next 3 weeks are going to be a lot of fun. And I think that we should like enjoy ourselves and enjoy our bodies. And don't forget to, you know, your physical energy, your sexual energy is magic. So just be aware of where you're projecting your magic. Be aware of what you're thinking while you're using your magic, particularly your sexual magic with the arrows on the top of that Christmas tree star, like we saw before. Any closing thoughts?
no, I would. Oh, I guess yes. I just totally agree with you too. There's been we were talking about this ambient energy or like charge that's within, and there has been this new way I've been directing my creative life force, you know, my sexual energy, like into the things around me that I'm working on. And it was something I was really working on slowly throughout the year, but I had that sound healing and just, you know, so I would
Yes. Yes.
reiterate what you said of just like really being aware of how
Yes.
you're utilizing that
Yes.
prana, that life force, that chi.
All we mean to say is don't fap to the wind, motherfuckers. Like
Yeah, really.
if you're gonna, especially men, because you guys drop seed when you do shit like this. For me, it regenerates within myself and I just keep glowing and glowing. You know, every orgasm I
Mhm.
have, like I just keep getting young. You know, women are different, but men, man, if you're fapping and spilling seed all over the place, man, good luck. And I'm not saying that
I've
anybody
been
should be like a retention human being, but just be aware of Eros and be aware of how you use it.
exactly. Like I've been more aware of the timing around it and when like I feel like that I should, when and I shouldn't, when I can utilize that energy, you know, instead
That's
of
right.
just doing like a like no nut November, you know, but like
Fuck that.
actually like really being having more of an awareness around
Yeah,
it.
no, like
And then like
feel.
getting up to like full like charge
Yeah,
with it, you know, when
be.
you're gonna work on something. Like right
Yeah,
now, you
like
know what I mean?
take that power, you know, and use it. Don't let it use you. All right. Yeah. I think
Agreed.
that's what
It
I
was
have to
such a
say about
great
this.
talk.
I love you. You're my fave.
I love you
I think I'll cut
too.
it. I'll cut the stream for the viewers, and then could I please keep you backstage for a second and just sort of kind of close
Oh
out
yeah.
just a little bit and chit chat personally.
Yeah, I planned
So
on it.
I love you guys. Thank you so much once again. A no finger February. No fiddle in your skittle in February, Josie.
No finger
Oh my
February.
gosh. Happens to Betsy. All right, I love you guys. On that note, we'll catch you on the next moon. Thank you so much for being around for our podcast, The New. And then you'll see us on The Full when the full moon comes around in January. Peace, guys. End stream.